Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another stream from, I guess we're just going to call it Legion Cast. Everybody's calling it something like that. So, that being said, thank you guys for being here. Seriously, there is an interview that dropped last night, and it is of Dr. Phil interviewing Donald John Trump. And I actually watched the version that Jeremy did on D Dave Cobra. He's from Geeks and Gamers. It was off Dr. Phil's website. It was extremely glitchy. It was bad. It was not good. But awesomely, our favorite president, the 45th president of the United States and the future 47th president of the United States, uploaded it to his own YouTube channel. So that being said, let's look at this. 50K upvotes, 391 downvotes. So with that being said, we're going to analyze this because I have not seen this yet. It jumped around so much for Jeremy because I think that Dr. Phil's website was crashing. So I saw the opportunity to maybe get everybody the full hour context and give my opinions and maybe kind of pick up where he left off. So yeah, yeah. Love it said and didn't know about the interview. And dang, Trump content creating. That's true. It's very true. So here we
It's
go.
an honor to be with you. Let me just say, it's great. Look at that logo. I've seen that sucker a long time.
Yeah, you look well.
I feel good.
Do you?
Feel good. No pressure.
Yeah.
It's nice to lead a life of no pressure whatsoever. Corruption surrounded by corrupt judges and corrupt politicians. Other than that, there's no pressure.
Well, you know, you and I talked the other night, and I work in trial sciences for a lot of my career, and so I have a particular interest in the dynamics of the trial setting. You're fighting this fight and standing up for the rights of due process and fighting against prosecutorial misconduct and prosecutorial abuse.
You know, it was interesting when you called the other day about doing an interview. A lot of people want to do interviews, and I don't just agree to them very easily. But I've always had great respect for you. I watch your show. Some of the...
Just real quick. After that showing at the UFC, maybe I should make my face a little bigger. After that showing at the UFC, we need President Trump on Joe Rogan. We saw the smile on Joe Rogan's face. We saw the smile on Donald Trump's face when they were shaking hands. We saw the smile on their faces when congratulating the 45th, the 47th president of the United States. I think that interview is coming. I really do. I think at this point that interview is coming. So with that being said, Andy Pickle here is giving the thumbs up on Rumble. Thank you. And also on the YouTubes. We're on many platforms. The one who can suck the most it the most is Twitch. Nobody likes Twitch. Twitch is dying, so nobody cares. But what we do care about is this man right here, Dr. Phil, who look, he comes in. Look, he was not a massive supporter of Donald Trump the first time around, but he's changing his tune. He's changing his tune over the coof and everything like that. And he went on The View, and The View tried to even the screeching harpies on The View tried to even give him a little leeway. And he stepped outside of what they believe, and they started kind of screeching at him a little bit. So Dr. Phil, not a massive fan, but I think he actually is starting to figure some common sense out in all of this.
good ones and some of the less intellectual ones, and that's okay too. But it's always been, you've always been very special. And I knew that you were in some form very much involved with trials. And I found it to be very interesting that you would take this up. It's a very important thing.
Well, I wanted to, and I know that there was some news coming out of Georgia today, there was some news coming out of Florida today, that they're stepping back from this. And
very good news.
I called for the other day, and I don't know if you saw it, but on...
So if you don't know what's going on right now, Fani Willis being investigated is basically a political hack who's meant to actually serve as an officer of the court on the legal side, not on the actual law enforcement side of like police, but she is so far under investigation that the Georgia court went like going, you know what? We're gonna suspend this right now because quite frankly, she is in so much hot water that quite frankly we don't want to mess around with her. Andy says, the harpies of happiness, Joy, Sunny, and Whoopi. Yeah, you know what? Holy crap, that's pretty funny. I've never heard anybody say that. Dude, that's good. It's really good.
Merritt Street Media, where I now do my show, I called for President Biden to stop all of this now. And of course, a lot of people said, oh, he can't stop it. It's a state case. Well, okay, that's an explanation for stupid people. But for people that understand how this works behind the scenes and all, I say the same thing. They need to stop this. They need to stop pursuing you. Since you started your campaign in 2015 to run for office, there have been so many attempts to get you off the.
What is up there, Boosh? I'm going to assume that's a typo, unless my alter ego, my alter political ego is known as Brian. So Ryan does does pop culture, and Brian does the more hardcore uh political stuff. Says Andy and love it. It's good to see everybody here. Seriously, on all platforms. Thanks. This was so last minute, kind of like the interview that President Trump did. What was it, last Thursday? No, 2 Thursdays ago. That was a fun one. That was a fun one. No, I very much, and again, um, I know that Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers tried to watch this whole thing. It kept skipping. It kept bumping around. It was, what's up, Revenge? He says, "What's up, Ryan? What's up, buddy? How you doing?" Yeah, Jeremy tried to watch it, but it kept skipping around. So this is actually from Donald Trump's YouTube channel. This is the full hour and 8 minutes.
Board even before you started your campaign. Then once you were in office, 2 impeachment opportunities. They changed the rules to try to make it high crimes and misdemeanors if there were business conflicts, and in this case,
Never ends.
it seems to be never ending, and that is a distraction to you. And I really wonder how that affects you. What do you say to yourself about that? Because it seems to never be ending.
It's a never-ending thing. There's a term that I know you've heard many times. It's called Trump derangement syndrome, and
Right.
nobody's ever seen anything like it. In one way, we drive them totally crazy because we're doing the right thing. You wonder, why would somebody want to have open borders where people are coming in from jails, prisons, where they're coming in?
Also, on top of this, Trump derangement syndrome is a real thing. It is a real thing. People just lose their minds and they screech at the top of their lungs. It's like, I've never seen anything like this since I've been alive, and quite frankly, I've only been alive for technically what, Trump, Obama, Bush, Clinton, and Bush Senior. So 5 presidents, but I don't. Yes, revenge. TDS is rampant as fuck. Bush's Dr. Phil viewers were shocked. They really had no idea who President Trump. Well, I'm sure they did. Oh, I saw the hate on Twitter though, like going, I used to support Dr. Phil. Now I can't anymore. And it's like, why? Because he talked to another human, a human that you don't disagree. And again, we were just talking about TDS. Um, Bush says they can't think or listen or question the media. They're completely captured. This idea. So this is a vacuum of, and again, religion is not for everybody. I would say I grew up religious. I'm more of a spiritual person, but I believe in Jesus Christ and God and all that kind of stuff. I have that inside of me. These people are hungry for something, and they latch onto this ideology like it's their religion. And it's moved past religion to a cult. It's like Scientology. It's insane. I don't get it. I don't get it.
From mental.
Never. And look, I don't think anybody in the chat is married to the ideas, but people are going to watch this later who are probably going to comment and say horrible things. Stop being married to your ideology. It doesn't make you who you are. You get to define who you are as a human being. Go outside, go for a run, go to the gym. I don't know, work on a car. Crochet, do something. Yes, Boosh. Yes, hate. All they do is hate. Well, misery loves company, and it's just so sad.
Mental institutions. And as you know better than anyone else, they're coming in, they're releasing the people all over the world, not just South America, from mental institutions and jails and prisons. And
So they so you'll even see little notes like this that where it says he says mental institutions, they're called psychiatric facilities. We used to have a lot more psychiatric facilities in this country, and then we started just jailing them, and it's like going, well, that worked real well. Thanks, guys. Also, at the same time, thank you everybody for watching. Um, the last one wasn't sarcasm, obviously. No, so we used to have you know psychiatric facilities in this country. We still have a few, but not the way it is. And now with a rampant public that is on fentanyl and they look like walking zombies, they need help. And then you tell the police, well, you can't mess with them. It's leave them alone. Let them be homeless. Let them be walking zombies in the street. Let them jerk off in public in San Francisco. Like, are you serious with this? I couldn't imagine having a family and kids in San Francisco. It's insane.
they're terrorists coming in by the thousands. They're pouring into our country. And who would allow this? You know, it's common sense, not a conservative thing. If they would devote that same skill and talent to making America great again, it would really be a wonderful thing. But in the meantime, we're beating them. You know, you mentioned I got impeached twice and I won twice very easily, very quickly. We had great support from the Republican Party. I have all these cases all my life. I didn't have any problem. And all of a sudden, within a matter of months, I end up with 4 cases. Now, of course, it's from the White House and the Department of Justice. They totally control the
And again, we all saw Joe Biden where he was asked at the press conference, Mr. President, Donald Trump blames you for the witch hunt against him or whatever it is, and he just turns and he's like, that might be one of the creepiest things I've ever seen. That was on last Friday night's Royal Rumble. Now, look, there's not going to be enough on our tonight. I know it's kind of disappointing, but I'm doing this in the place of that because I was going to do this tomorrow, but since we're taking a break, I'm doing this tonight. I think it'd be a more fun, and we're going to joke around and we're going to go through a lot of fun stuff. So, um, yes. Revenge says, "Oh my God, the fentanyl crisis is far more a big deal than the COOF ever was." I could probably say COVID now. I don't care. They can fuck off. There seems to be a lot more relaxation towards things, which is weird as of lately, especially since we're getting real close to what. People seem to be calling out certain shenanigan. We'll say fortification in 2020, and not having a problem. Like big platforms. But anyway, Andy says maybe why they couldn't admit that St. Floyd swallowed a bag. Yes, he did. He was literally having an overdose. They didn't know that. Like, it's like, what do you want to like? Dude was like a locomotive. His heart was going so fast that it was literally collapsing on itself. Don't do drugs, kids. Don't do drugs. Don't become a massive alcoholic either. You know why? Because it weakens your heart and it makes it lazy, and it actually kind of elongates and weakens the muscles to where it doesn't pump right. It's kind of the opposite effect. Alcohol makes your heart lazy, fentanyl makes your heart a locomotive, and both end up in you having a heart attack. Don't do it.
state case. In fact, I'm not allowed to even be talking about certain aspects of it because I have, again,
That's horse shit. It's horse shit. I have never, ever in my life heard about a judge gag ordering a defendant. Now, your lawyer, say let's take O.J. Simpson for fact, like going, O.J.'s on trial. His lawyer's going to tell you like, hey, dude, shut the hell up. Just shut up. Don't say anything. Don't do anything. Just shut up. But a judge telling a defendant to shut up, like, that's a bigger slam dunk. If the defendant wants to talk, you're giving yourself the freaking the boom shakalaka. It's like playing a 90s freaking NBA game. Like, the ball's on fire. Like, what are you doing? But no, he was told to shut up, not talk about the trial and the stuff that happened in it because federal trials are not televised ever. Federal trials are not televised. They're done through reporters in the room who can take notes and talk about the notes after the fact, but they are not televised ever.
Gag order. Think of it. I'm the
Well, this one was technically this was a state trial, which made this one weirder. This is a state trial that had federal proceedings in it because, quite frankly, election fraud is federal to where maybe business fraud is state, and they decided to. And again, Judge Merchan decided to take the two and go like this. That doesn't work. It don't work like that. Also, business fraud too has a statute of limitations. I believe roughly in the neighborhood of like 7 years tops, 6-7 years. And no, it doesn't work. So this took place before the 2016 election. Let's see, 2016, about 8.5 years. So even if it was 7 years at the max, that would be out of the statute of limitations. You can't try out of the statute of limitations. So yeah. Also at the same time, a lot of people don't know that the top individual from the Department of Justice, Joe Biden's Department of Justice, the FBI, actually left his position to be lead prosecutor on this case in New York. That's not a step up. That is a massive step down. You go from third in line at the DOJ to a lead prosecutor on a case. That's weird. All right, I'm done with the shenanigans. I do want to say hi to Penny. Penny says, Ryan and Boosh. Hello, Penny. Thank you for being here. We love Penny. She's awesome. So here we go.
Republican nominee. I was the president, and I'm leading the current Democrat by a lot. And I have a gag order from a local judge that was appointed by the Democrat Party. A local judge. He's a local person, and he is appointed. And he put a gag order on me.
While you're
Nobody's ever
campaigning.
seen anything like it.
While you're campaigning.
While I'm campaigning, like you just mentioned, the question that.
While he's campaigning, and Revenge says, "Oh my God, why am I not surprised?" You shouldn't be. Also, at the same time, Judge Merchan's daughter is basically a political representative and somebody who goes out into the community and pushes the Democrats. She's an influencer, whatever you want to say it is. She gets paid to do so. She is actively involved in trying to get Joe Biden reelected, and her father, weirdly, was the judge who was not, quote, compromised in this case. I'm sorry if your daughter is a political activist trying to get Joe Biden reelected, and you're the judge on the case for Donald Trump, who is the leading front runner. You just got to be like a responsible and good man would say, I'm recusing myself. I'm removing myself from the situation. I'm passing this on to another judge who does not have the possibility of being compromised. Not saying he's compromised, but he definitely seems to be very compromised. Andy says, Ryan, the opening salvo was Obama's DNC spying. Yes, that's true. Spying on Trump's campaign. Remember what they did to Nixon? Abso-fucking-lutely nothing was done to yeah. No, it wasn't. And again, Revenge says, liberal influencers puke. Yeah. Brooklyn dad who look, I'm all for a redemption story, but if you're really going to judge people, maybe you shouldn't have sold your kids' toys for crack, bro. That's Brooklyn dad. He sold his kids' toys for crack. It's not a joke. He was a druggie, and now he's a reformed man who's speaking out for truth, justice, and Pedo Pete, as I like to call him. Yes, Revenge. That face says it all.
That I'm not allowed to talk about.
Right.
Can you imagine? I'm the Republican nominee, and I'm not allowed to talk because a local judge from New York, appointed by Democrats, said I can't talk about it. It's so unfair. And then he
Yeah.
gives a jury charge. Nobody's ever heard of a charge like this. He gave instructions to the jury. And by the way, the jury happened to be in a location that was almost no Republicans. You understand that?
Yeah,
too?
it's 87-13 in the last two elections, Republican. And I know you can't talk about it. I'm not under a gag order. I do know that the number 3 person in the Department of Justice took a pay cut and went down in stature to go to a state job and become one of the lead prosecutors in this case. But yet they say, hey, Dr. Phil, why are you saying that President Biden needs to stop all of this? It's a state case. That's exactly why I'm saying it. Don't be naive, people. Understand that there's a power play going on
It's
here.
controlled by the White House and the DOJ.
Yeah,
100%.
You know, Gerard Baker wrote in Wall Street Journal today, and I'm paraphrasing, but he said, what do we say to those people that are rejoicing over reducing law to the status of a weapon in the hands of the dominant political power? Because that's what's happening right now. It's become a weapon. And that's not what it's intended for. That's not what we need to be doing. I mean, let's let the people decide these, right?
That's right. That was a very good statement in the Wall Street Journal. I read that this morning. And it's so true. I mean, it's so accurate. They've weaponized to a level. They are trying to affect the election by demeaning, hurting in any form. And by the way, I think after the election, the hatred's great enough that they'll go, but with much less enthusiasm. This is about November 5th, which I think is going to be the most important day in the history of our country. If we don't turn this around, we're not going to have a country left anymore.
Well, we're a country of laws, right? I mean, and that's what's made us so orderly. That's what's allowed us to progress forward. And there's something that are called hornbook laws or black letter law that is just, these things have just been around so long. And these were violated in your case, one right after the other. For example, you don't let someone that has been charged in the same case as someone else and they made a plea deal and said, okay, I'm guilty of doing this because they were intimidated into doing it. The lawyer in your case, we don't even need to speak his name, he bartered around out from under 65 years, looking at 65 years of imprisonment down to 3 years and 2 years on this case and a tax case. So went from 65 years down to 5 years in exchange for giving them testimony against you. That's not supposed to come in, but it did. Pecker making a deal, a non-prosecution agreement. That's not supposed to come in, but it did. That got into the jury box. They got to hear all of that. And so they say, well, you know, if we're not down here for the reasons they're saying, then we need an alternative explanation, which they're not allowed to get because your expert witness that was going to come in and say, as a former chairman of the election commission, was going to say this was looked at. There's no issues here. They didn't allow that person to talk, to testify. And I'm looking at this saying, how is the jury supposed to solve this problem if they don't have all the pieces to the puzzle?
They wouldn't listen.
Oh, we got more pieces to the puzzle that just came out, and we're gonna go through those after this. But real quick, let's make my face a little bigger. Let's see. Yes, Love It says not being surprised should be on the bingo card. That should be the bingo. You're like going, not surprised, bingo. But I win. It's like, oh great. I won 4 more years of Biden. Oh shit. A little too far. I don't know. Andy says Biden probably tells about withholding aid to you. Yes, Ukraine, unless the investigator going after Burisma was fired. Ukraine held the trial and held Biden responsible for any millions stolen from Ukraine. Hey, does everybody remember when Ukraine was a corrupt country? Pepperidge Farm does. I do. And it was so funny too that when Candace Owens was talking about, and this is about a month, 5-6 weeks ago, when Tulsi Gabbard was on Joe Rogan, and she was fighting with the New York Times. Oh, what happened? Who suspended my shit for policy violation? Oh, maybe it's a Dr. Phil thing. Maybe it's a Dr. Phil thing. I'm going to have to check my email and see why it was taken down. Let me see if it comes back. My political channel might have just been taken down. Okay, Love It says, I see you. Because you said Pepperidge Farm too. Let me check my political channel. There's nothing that's being said. It's still down. This is wild. So YouTube is you son of a bitches. Hold on real quick. Oh no, it's back. It's back. Okay, yeah, it was it's probably going to be a copyright claim from Dr. Phil himself, which is weird. It's very weird. I don't understand that one. I will look into that when we are done. So what's weird is that Dr. Phil was actually so Dr. Phil was actually on his own platform, his own website. However, this is actually from, I don't know if Dr. Phil would necessarily do that because, quite frankly, as you can see, and I'll make me small or disappear. This is actually on the the former president of the United States' platform. So I can get around this, guys. It's not hard. I was just really worried that YouTube was actually saying I violated one of their their fake ass election policies. I don't know. Because if that's the case, then they would give me a copyright. They would give me a strike on my channel, and literally they would nuke that crap. So we seem to be good. So what I'll do is do like we do with most stuff for like House of the Dragon and all that kind of thing. Hunting Mustache Man, and I'll make it intermittent. So let's get back to the video. Everything's back up. Everything looks good. So let's do it.
Listen to him. They wouldn't talk to him. They didn't want to hear his testimony. They knew what he was going to say. He was going to say it was 100%. And very importantly, when they tell somebody, you're going to jail for 15 years, unless you got this guy named Trump. Okay? Now, in all fairness, we know a lot of great people, but you don't know too many that would say, I'm not going to do what they want.
Yeah.
He goes up to somebody and they say, Dr. Phil, you're going to jail for 15 minutes.
Also, at the same time, I'm sorry. You guys have to stare at my face if we're going to do this right. It's still, it's so weird that the smaller political channel got taken down, but the larger, and again, this is literally, this is culture in the making. This is history in the making. What's happening to this president and only this president. So it's just weird the smaller political channel got taken down and not the larger pop culture one. I don't know. I don't get it. Don't ask me. I'm not.
Unless you say bad things about Trump. And if you say the bad things, you're not going to jail at all. In fact, we're going to make you a hero. Or you're going to go for 3 months. Or you're going to go for a short period of time. How many people are there that say, I'm not going to do that? There have been people.
Yeah, that's right.
And those are, in my opinion, these are great people. What they've done to people that work for me is incredible. Yeah. Incredible. The threats, the taking of a gentleman who's been with me for years and telling me he's going to jail for 15 years unless they say, and he went back to jail a second time. I guess they didn't want him to testify. I don't know what happened exactly, but the threats that they made to this man, they've destroyed his life. These are fascists. These are really bad people, Phil. And how,
Okay, these are actually real fascists. These are actually real people who are authoritarians. They take their opponents, they throw them in jail, and they say, you know what? You don't get to run against me because, quite frankly, I said so. That is real fascism. I don't understand how these dumbass kids in this country, not even just dumbass kid. I feel like my hat's crooked, pissing me off. I don't understand how these people in this country and some of Gen Z is wising up, but my millennial generation, Jesus, are we a lost cause? I think there's like 30% of us that actually have an IQ above very low 75 grade. They're like going, "You fascist," and I'm like going, "You don't know what that means, do you? You don't. It's what the maggots are." And I'm like going, "All right, whatever. Just shut the fuck up." It's also the people who are like going, "Oh, what are you, a racist Nazi?" And I'm like going, "Okay, those two words actually have meaning. Racist in the 90s meant you were a horrible person because you know what? There wasn't as much racism towards the mid to end of the 90s as some there were some problems in the early part, but generally I think the mid to late 90s was the best time ever. And then of course, unfortunately, we got into like, 9/11 and stuff like that. And then of course it really unified, but through tragedy, which isn't great. That being said, uh when you call somebody a Nazi, that has real meaning. That has legitimate meaning. It means you are one of the worst in the history of the world. One of, not the one of. And it's like these people just like going, I punch Nazis, and it's like, really, the power fist saying you punch Nazis? All right, whatever.
but who's going to do it? You're going to jail for 15 years, or you're going to go for 30 days or 40 days, or you're going to go for no time, but you have to say bad things about Trump.
Yeah, and that's intimidation, and some of these people.
Intimidation, also, quite frankly, through blackmailing courses in some places is actually a felony as well. So that being said, Lovett said that's wild. Absolutely. Um, not just see the lib talking heads that the Brits show talking about Dana and Orange Man walking out. Yes, 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 yes. I did see that. That's so stupid. Like Joe Rogan, who covers all of this stuff. I saw the UFC events. Like, are you serious? Um, some people I like are wearing sphincter. People like wearing a sphincter. That's fair. Matt says the left has indoctrinated a cult essentially, and historically, over 95% of fascists are leftist slash socialist or communist. That's true. Even though the weirdos in this country, they're like, oh well, National Socialism was right wing. For their politics, it was, yes. National Socialism in Germany at the time was considered right wing. But in America, it's flopped. They're different. In National Socialism, if it rose in America right now, would be far left wing. And it would be authoritarian. It would be burning your businesses. That's weird. Where are we seeing businesses burned down? I don't know. Maybe Antifa, anti-fascist. You guys are fucking retarded. Also, at the same time, anybody ever heard of Crystal Knocked? Yeah, yeah, I heard of that one. It's weird. It's almost like that a bunch of Jewish households, businesses were ransacked and everything was shattered or stolen. Where have I heard that before? Oh, Black Lives Matter too. Damn it. Damn it. Damn Black Lives Matter. No, no, at this point. Black lives don't care about doddering Predator Pete. Yes, that's Joe Biden, by the way. Um, who literally can't and yes, talking about brown, not brown shirts, but we'll get there. Thank you there, Andy Pickle. What can brown do for you? Apparently Joe Biden shit his pants at the D-Day D-Day ceremony, or he was trying to find a chair, one or the other. He's like, oh, I got poo. Oh no, there's not a chair. Okay, okay. And look, I make fun of Joe Biden in his state right now. I feel bad for that man. I really do. And only in the sense that not his previous past discretions where he's an awful human being. He's like a child who doesn't know where the fuck he is. And quite frankly, the people who keep popping him full of pills and whatever, maybe probably some of the same cocktails that killed Elvis Presley, by the way. Um, like it's elder abuse. The man should be sitting in a corner and he just be like, oh, make America great again. Like, leave him alone. Anyway. Okay, so that being said, I kind of rambled a little bit. Sorry. Yes, Kayleigh McEnany called out this bullshit just like that consistently. Oh, she was, and Joe Rogan says this, and many others say this. Kayleigh McEnany was the most prepared out of every White House press secretary in history. She had a binder and she flipped it over. She's like going, oh, okay. She's like, she's like, okay, well, what the fuck was his name from CNN? That loser. He's so irrelevant anymore that he's not even around. Interesting. Yeah, I could look it up. Yes, Bush says Trump is a fascist. Define fashion. You're a fascist. Yeah, that's about right. Right. Revenge says BLM slash Antifa. Yep. Heard about the brown shirts? Yes. Speaking of the brown shirts, do, 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 do. Yeah, when let's say hypothetically that this country gets overthrown by the weirdos and the brown shirts and all that stuff. Hey, brown shirts, BLM and Antifa, you'll no longer be needed. You know what that means, right? You'll be rounded up as it was in Nazi Germany and literally, and it happened in the Soviet the previous well before the Soviet Union and in China. They round people up and they say, you know what, you're a threat to the you helped us win the revolution. Thank you. We appreciate you. You're too dangerous to be here because, quite frankly, you're just going to cause problems. We're going to round you up and we're going to send you to work in the camps, and you get to live out that wonderful socialist life, working for the country you love and you fought so hard for. And there were people who, quite frankly, died digging ditches in solid bedrock, thinking they were working for the party that literally threw them in a camp. That's brainwashing 101. We're still live. Surprise. Yeah, so it was a copyright claim. That's what it was. All right, so I can be a little more careful. Matt says the National Socialists were founded by a dude who created statist socialism, currently in use in Venezuela, for example. The Nazis engaged in price controls, nationalized businesses, and so on. Yup. Also, at the same time, look, I get it. The left is really trying to use this as a meme because Adolf Hitler was thrown in jail as actually trying to overthrow the government. As we know that wasn't a thing. It was a few people instituted by the FBI, by the way. Again, when you have an FBI agent in Congress, be like, "Oh, did you have FBI agents in the crowd inciting normal citizens to go into the Capitol?" I can't comment on that. You can't comment on that? You are a federal law enforcement officer. You are bound by oath 24/7, 365 days, including leap year, to tell the truth. If you do not, you are fired and you are just, you'll never work in law enforcement again. Oh, bye. I love it. Sorry. Oh, no. I love it. Had to go. I love it. Sorry. Sorry. All right, let's go back to the former president. I talked too much.
People, you look at their age, you look at their health, and for some of it could be a death sentence. And so they make a deal, and that's what I talk about. That's what I mean when I say prosecutorial abuse. Did anyone ever approach you and try to get you to make a deal, drop out of the race, make a deal here, we'll leave you alone?
That's just to skip forward real quick. Andy says, you have a Discord, Ryan, or on Anna's have a story about Stash Man involving Bert Kreischer. I do have a Discord. It is Legion Games 2076. So you can, if Anna had problems finding it, if you can't find that, you can send it to her. She'll forward it to me. It's fine. Uh, she was laughing about it. She's like, oh, I finally found it. It's all lowercase. Yeah, Discord's weird. I don't know. I don't like Discord. It's okay. Revenge says FBI equals a full-blown idiots. That's true. That is true. So Dr. Phil says later on, and skipping forward because he's doing advertising to write about here.
And try to get you to make a deal, drop out of the race, make a deal here, we'll leave you alone.
No, they didn't, but I believe they would.
No.
If I would have offered that up, I think they know me well enough. I really do. But if I didn't run, as an example, I would have never had any of these lawsuits. How about I get prosecuted on a person that I have no idea who she is? I have no idea who she is. I have to pay $91 million. And that judge was just as bad.
He's talking about what's her name, where supposedly he fondled her in a dressing room of an old Navy or something like that, and she looks like, really? I'm just saying. Also, what's weird too is that yeah, thank you, Bush. Jean Carroll. Ugh. So anyway, on top of that, there was a weirdo on Twitter who is assuming he says he's a veteran, but I'm thinking he's stealing valor, but whatever. It happens all the time. He was like, I showed the article where Ashley Biden said that her father did, quite frankly, shower with her and grape her, and his rebuttal was like going at 26 time. He used Jean Carroll, and I was like, really, really, like, dude, you suck. That these people are so like. I also posted a video too before that where Joe Biden sniffing girls and like touching them on their face, and they're like, and they pull away, and it's like, yes, creepy old man touches women, and they don't like it. But 26 women come out in an article saying that that Donald Trump, sexually raped them. Really? Okay, whatever, dude. It's so nonsensical. I can't stand it.
Ed.
I thought I was subscribed. Oh, not with this channel. This is my gaming channel, but I'll still subscribe. I'm subscribed with the other ones.
Just as corrupt, a corrupt judge. I have to pay $91 million to a woman. I have no idea who she is. She wrote a book and she made a statement in the book. And you know that case. That case is a disaster. And then but I have no idea who she is. And they said I did things. These people are corrupt and in some cases incompetent. But it's such an honor to have somebody like you see it and see it so clearly. And I knew that, I remember that years ago you were helping Oprah out, and she was sued and it was having a big impact on her.
Mad cow.
And I thought it was great. And Oprah used to really like me. She was here many times. Yeah. She loved my.
That's true. That's 1,000% true. All the celebrities used to love Donald Trump. And now, ever since he decided to run for president, and we're going to deviate just slightly. We will definitely get back to it, though. We're going to get back to it. I want to give a little bit of a break so we don't get hit again. All the celebrities used to love Donald Trump until he ran for president. And then he was racist, he was homophobic, he was like all these things over the years. And it's like, yeah, no, I'm not advocating for Oprah, but the thing is, though, is that this is how fickle that these people are. As soon as you step outside the box and say, hey guys, this isn't really working for me, like, and it doesn't seem to be working for anybody else in the country. And quite frankly, we have, I don't know, 330 million Americans who are roughly struggling, about 97% of them, because again, the top wealthy make up like maybe it's about 1%. It's about 1%. And those are people who make about $150,000 a year to a certain extent. And then the top billionaires and millionaires, they're less than 1%. So basically 99% of America is like eating a shit sandwich. But that being said, let's actually highlight this real quick. From Gunther Engelman. So this came out today. Uh-oh, and there's more, trust me. And this is what I've been saying ever since they indicted him. I'm sorry that they convicted him. Y'all fucked up. Y'all fucked up big. It's like from the New York State Unified Court System. Apparently, this is a Facebook group chat. This is a group chat. Not joking. Michael Anderson, thank you all for your hard work against MAGA crazies. Well, we're all crazy. Cool. My cousin is a juror on Trump's criminal case, and they're going to convict him tomorrow, according to her. Thank you. Prayers, New York courts. Love. One, you. It's just and again, I saw that Wade is here. Awesome to see you, Wade. Seriously, awesome to see you. We love Wade. Going on from lopsided free speech. I love it. Michael Anderson. Well, you just implicated your cousin in a crime. Yes, it's a crime. If what you say is true, it is against the law. Ding, 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 ding. For a juror to discuss the case before it had ended. Thank you for shedding light on your cousin's actions. Yes, it is a crime to divulge information in a criminal trial before the trial is over. That's why in many high-profile murder trials that a jury is sequestered and they're taken to hotels and they're kept isolated, because quite frankly, it's kind of what happened in the O.J. Simpson trial. Because if you talk about it and you leak stuff, and quite frankly, you fuck it up. You know why? Because when a jury member runs their mouth, you have compromised everything. You compromised it all. Because now public opinion will force you to do what they will, and or other individuals that may be involved. Let's say hypothetically it's a criminal trial for, let's see, what's one of the worst oil disasters in history of the world? Enron. Hey, Enron. So if an Enron executive or the CEO of Enron is being convicted, and all of a sudden you're like going, and you flap your trap, and then employees of Enron get word of it, they might be so angry knowing that the fact that their company stock is going to tank, they might actually try to threaten you guys. Or vice versa. They might try to take out the CEO of Enron because they're so instilled by the fact that, again, their stock's going to tank, their livelihood is destroyed, their family's probably going to not know where to find food after this, and you've made people desperate. You don't get to talk about a criminal trial while it's going on. This is not hard. So thank you, Michael Anderson. Mr. Anderson, you done fucked up. Oh, we got more. We got more. These people are so stupid. Wait, what happened? Maybe it's the internet thing. Hold on. Search? Oh, there it goes. No, maybe not. Okay, this link doesn't seem to be working. Maybe somebody deleted it. Maybe his account got nuked. Yeah. Yeah, and it says, but wait, there's more. No, I have more than than possibility the dude's account who got nuked. Well, from Benny Johnson. We know Benny Johnson's not going to get nuked. So you're not going to see mainstream media covering this because, quite frankly, they're like going, "Oh my God, he's finally convicted. He's a horrible person. We hate his face."
Folks, major breaking news on the Trump verdict out of the rotten apple. A New York Supreme Court has just notified, or the New York Supreme Court has just notified Judge Juan Merchan that someone identifying themselves as the cousin of one of the jurors.
Oops. And yes, Wade, thank you very much. I saw that comment. You're a good friend, man. Seriously, you're a good dude. I appreciate you so much, Wade. You're a funny guy. Yeah. So,
Posted to the court's Facebook page that Trump was going to be found guilty. This happened one day before the verdict was announced.
Oops. Oopsie doopsie poopsie.
We're working.
I just browned in my pants. Or, as Joe Biden says, what can brown do for you? Apparently a mistrial. You fucking losers.
To verify all this information and what it means about Trump's case.
Oh, we're gonna verify it. Trust me. This is not gonna stand. This is bad. This is really bad. Y'all done fucked up. You done fucked up. And from one of my I have not watched this one. I'm assuming this dude is so funny. It came out literally after the fact. This guy is he's hysterical. If you don't know who he is, please go follow him on Twitter. His name is Conservative Ant, and he's a very gay man. And quite frankly, he says now leave President of the United States 45 alone. He is hysterical. This guy is so funny. I started following him a couple of weeks ago after the verdict, and he goes off.
Hi, it's me. Hello. I'm just making a coffee. Many of you asked me what machine I used. That's the one. It's Escafé. That's her. And I always put just a little bit of creamer inside. Yeah, just a little bit of Chobani French vanilla creamer. Happy Friday, Good Friday evening to everybody. I just wanted to give a shout out to the juror.
And here it is. He does this every time too. He taps his hat with his phone.
Give a shout out to the juror who told his cousin that they were going to convict Donald Trump days before. I'm assuming it was that holiday that y'all were celebrating at someone's barbecue, probably, because that was smart to let jurors leave and not be sequestered. But anyways, I digress. So that case crumbled quick. You know, if you don't understand yet what's going on, if you're not up yet and awake.
Oh, this might be the most eccentric one yet. I love it. Oh, man.
Maybe that'll help. Okay? Maybe that'll help. Every turn they're trying to get this guy. Every turn.
Yeah, if you don't follow this guy on Twitter, go follow again. It's a conservative.
Hi.
We don't need to go to. Okay, so that being said, all right, let's get back to the chat. Prevents laughing my ass off. I really love this guy. Shrug. Shit getting wild. Roseanne Barr announced that she was raped by Brandon in a department store change room 3 years ago. Oh, we need to make a case right now. Andy says, ow, 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 ow. And then Revenge says, bad, 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 bad. And I just got assaulted. I got assaulted by Funny Man. He's very funny. You should watch some of his previous clips. But all right, let's get back to Dr. Phil. And we took a long break, so let's go.
Key lime pie. We have key lime pie, and she loved a lot of things about Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah.
And Roger King, as you know,
Yeah, we were here for the funeral for Roger
correct,
King.
long time ago. It's the only
I'll be right
funeral
back.
we've ever had at Mar-a-Lago. I said, maybe
I'm
we
gonna
can
blow my nose real quick.
do a new business here. We'll operate as a funeral parlor. But it was one of the most beautiful funerals in the ballroom behind us. And he was a great guy. And Oprah's terrific. But once I announced I was running, and I said, we have to have strong borders, we have to have this, we have to have that, we've sort of lost contact, as the expression goes. But I remember when you were very much involved in helping Oprah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's been time and time again. And that was another black letter law that you just don't do. The judge tells you, okay, you can testify, but I'm going to allow them to ask you about this person that you now owe $91 million. I'm going to allow them to ask you about this other case. I'm going to allow them to ask you about 10 contempt citations
Nice.
that I've given you. I'm going to allow them to ask about all that stuff. What does any of that have to do with the matters at hand? And the answer is zero. That gets into the jury box if you take the witness stand. Again, that is black letter law. You can't let in unrelated things that have more.
Real quick, while the video's playing too, I'm gonna try to pull up that tweet that seems to have disappeared from Bad Hombre. It was pretty relevant. Not sure if it's a weird Twitter thing or he may have been mass flagged. I had a lady say after the the conviction, stuff like that. I flagged you for what? For community guide I flagged you for community guidelines and safety issues. And I was like, really? It's like, I didn't threaten you. I didn't threaten anybody else. I didn't cite violence. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I was making fun of the fact that she said that she had a trans daughter. And it's like, who was not of age, as in like not of age. But apparently that's violence.
More prejudicial impact than probative nature. That just doesn't happen, but it happened 1, 2, 3 things right in a row,
That's right.
and that gets into the jury
If you
box.
testify, they'll be able to ask you about all these different things. And by the way, if you say one thing if you say it was a beautiful day, as I remember it, and it was raining out, we're going to indict you for perjury.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'll tell you what, I have a lot of lawyers that are friends and this and that.
There it is.
I had probably 25 guys over the course of a couple of months say, whatever you do, don't testify, because you'll say something that's a little bit off, and you will be in.
Wade says no video, just yes, no, Wade. So what's really weird is that my political channel got taken down for apparent copyright infringement. So like it was like if I was watching a Game of Thrones and just not pausing it or taking it off the screen. But my pop culture channel, Legion Talk, which is bigger, didn't. Which is weird. But I guess since the one is political, the other one's pop culture, maybe you get a little leeway. I don't know. So from Bad Hombre, there. Yes. Yes, this is what I was looking for. This is what I was looking for. Here we go. Let's stop the stream real quick. Well, let's stop that video from Bad Hombre because he's a bad hombre. Breaking. In a letter to Trump's legal team and the New York District Attorney's Office, Judge Merchan notifies both sides of a comment posted on the Unified Court System's Facebook page on May 29th, prior to the verdict being handed down. The commenter claims to be the cousin of a juror and says he received advance notice that the President Trump would be convicted from this. Juan M. Merchan, judge of the Court of Claims, Supreme Court, criminal term, first judicial. Nobody cares, dude. You suck dick. Well, if he does if he does the right thing, we'll give him a little bit of a pass. June 7th. Dear counsel, today the court became aware of a comment that was posted of the Unified Court System's public Facebook page, and which I now bring to your attention. In the comment, the user Michael Anderson states, "My cousin juror, we know. The comment, now labeled as 1 week old, responded to a routine UCS notice posted on May 29th, 2024, regarding oral arguments in the 4th Department of the Appellate Division unrelated to this proceeding. The posting entitled, 'The Appellate Division of 4th Department will hear oral arguments.'" The jokes are too numerous for that one. Arguments this morning at 10, and the comment are both viewable at this website and very truly yours, Juan M. Merchan, Judge, Court of Claims, Acting Justice, Supreme Court, and CC Susan Next Esquire, Counsel of Record. So this is going to the records office immediately. So dude's not fucking around. His hands are tied. Yes. Revenge says conviction is overturned. Yes, his hands are tied. You got nothing. You can't do nothing. This is immediately going to the clerk of the recorder's office, and it is going to be immediately dismissed by Trump's team. Motion to dismiss, because it is it's a jury that has literally been tainted. So it is grounds for dismissal immediately. Not tomorrow, not next week. It is grounds for immediate dismissal right now. The gag order is over as soon as it airs. So Bad Hombre. I don't know who Granny Pornstar is, but the verdict was fair and from a jury of his peers. That's a weird one. So that being said, Revenge says motion to dismiss, mistrial. It's true. It's very true. It's very true. You don't get to with the court system. You don't get to walk out there and be like going, "Hey man, I'm a part of OJ Simpson's trial, and guess what? The gloves did fit." Oh, no, you don't get to do that. All right, so let's get back to the video. It's so idiots.
Indicted for lying, for perjury. These are evil people. These are sick, evil people.
Oh, I would have thrown
just,
myself in front of your car to keep you from
no,
testifying.
I wanted to so badly. And by the way, I would have loved to have testified about those things.
Dr. Phil says I would have thrown myself in front of your car from testifying. Good. Defendants should never, ever, ever, in 99.9999999899959% of the case, ever testify. If you're called as a witness, if you're called by the defense, the prosecution, don't ever defend yourself. Don't ever take the stand to defend yourself. Don't. Lawyers manipulate. And unfortunately, a very nice lawyer, who many of us know, I hope that he gets the help he needs for him and his kids and his family. That's all I'm going to say.
because it was so corrupt and so horrible. But he wouldn't have allowed me to answer the questions properly. And so I would have loved to have testified. I wanted to. I'm telling you, they had to hold me back. But every lawyer that came, they'd always start to say, by the way, I'm a friend of yours, don't testify. And they saw what he was doing. They can ask you about like anything. They can do nothing to do with this case. All of these outside things. And it was really an unfair trial. There's a very brilliant judge in Florida that's holding the government. It looks like, I mean, she's looking into what happened because
Oh my God, I've talked so much that we're only 14 minutes into this. I need to shut the hell up.
they raided Mar-a-Lago.
Shut up, Brian.
And they took stuff out by the satchel. I mean, they took bags and bags of stuff. And I said, what are they taking? Are they saying what they're taking? Because they can add things. They can add the nuclear codes in there. They say, hey, he had the nuclear codes. And this was all stuff that under the Presidential Records Act, I'm allowed to do. By the way, Biden was totally...
Also, again, real fast, the last stream that I did about this, the FBI added, you know those wonderful little red jackets and stuff like that say classified or top secret? That's not a thing for the U.S. government. It's in movies. The FBI added those things, put the records back on the ground, which makes me think that they dumped them out in the first place, out of a box, jacketed them, saying, oh, classified, top secret, your eyes only. Quite frankly, Joe Biden's up his anus, so you have to crawl up in there and you got to get the come out back down. Like going, yeah, I joke. No, that is evidence tampering. Evidence tampering. As a police officer, let's say hypothetically that I find a gun in your car, right? I decide to, oh, look at that gun. Like going, oh, he's not allowed to own that gun. It's unregistered. Well, what if I just drop a little crack next to it? And what if I just dress it up with a little bit of marijuana on the other side? It's nestled between that marijuana and crack, that handgun that's unregistered. Guess what? You get to go away for 20 to 25 years. Woohoo. Idiots. Also at the same time, the FBI, they have to have college degrees. Shows you how worthless college is.
Exonerated. Now, I'm not sure I want that kind of an exoneration. They basically said he's incompetent to stand trial, but he could be president. Think of that. He's not sharp enough, got no memory, got no this, got no that. He's incompetent. Basically, they're saying he can't stand trial due to incompetence, but he can run for president. What's going on?
Yeah.
What are we missing here?
Yeah, it makes everybody uncomfortable about that state of affairs. And what I was concerned about with everything that happened in this New York trial is one of the big myths is that the burden of proof lies with the prosecution. That is the law. But I can tell you, after years and years and years of trial, the truth is that the jury sits there and says, I'm looking at all this, and if we're not down here for the reason they say we're down here, somebody needs to give me an alternative explanation of why we are down here. So if we're not down here because of what the prosecutors are telling us, then what's the alternative story? What's the alternative explanation? And when you get muzzled in the way that this judge muzzled this case, they're sitting there saying, what's the rest of the story? You're not allowed to testify because you're in jeopardy if you do. They let all of this other stuff in that should never get into the jury box. And so, the scales get tipped. And it gets very, very difficult to get even one juror because there's not an alternative story that if you could tell without being in peril, if you can tell without being intimidated, it would be a very different situation. The burden legally is on the prosecution. But logically,
You're
with the
guilty
jury,
until proven innocent.
that's
basically what
exactly the
happened.
truth.
I can tell you that's the truth with me.
That's how it
what
plays
happened.
out. And I did a focus group about this when I did a show on this on Merritt Street. And I had 250 people in, did a focus group, and I said, and overwhelmingly the people were in your favor. But I found those that had questions, and I said, what is your question? They said, where there's smoke, there's fire.
Yeah.
I didn't hear
I
the other
understand
part
that.
of it.
I'm sitting here, and you've asked me indirectly a couple of questions. They're so simple to answer. I'd love to. And yet, if I do, this guy's he's willing to throw you in jail. Okay, this is an appointed judge acting. He's an acting judge, appointed, and he's willing to throw you. And he's so conflicted. It's so sad. But you know,
formerly conflicted judge who had to send out that memo to both the defense and the prosecution of a juror talking to their cousin out their ass. Uh-oh, we're in trouble. Just saying. That being said, thank you to all of you that are still here. I appreciate y'all hearing me ramble about like, but let's ramble on.
you know, you do things for your country, and I view it. I think if my country weren't involved, because people say the two questions I get these questions from very tough guys like you, the biggest guys on Wall Street, the people that you read about, but they're tough men and women. But I have the question asked often is number one.
Whoa, I heard he hates women. Tough men and women?
Number one question I get, how do you stand it? How do you do it? How do you get up in the morning and put your clothing on and go to work? I do get that because people don't envy it. And the other one I get is, will they do it again? Meaning, will they cheat? Will they do it again? Will it happen again?
Well, I have a different.
All right, so let's address this real quick. Will they fortify again? Will they fortify again? Yes. Yes, they will. They'll do anything to keep this man out of the White House. Look, I'm a huge fan of The Rock. You guys know that. Stream with JV, Left Eye Ego, Bradley Burnett. We do a Wednesday night. Wednesday night is overbooked. We talk about wrestling. Donald John Trump is the people's president. That's the way it is. It's why they fucking hate him. It's why they hate him. They're like going, fuck do you care about the little people? Like we're here just to tax them and keep them like mellow, mildly happy. Like what the hell is your problem? And he goes, no, this is the greatest country in the history of the world. In fact, true. And he's like, no, I speak for the people. I want to talk to the people. All people. Black people, skinny people, tall people, white people, people who make Slurpees, people who have herpes. He wants to talk to all people. Yes, that was a WWF a little bit of a Rock promo. He wants to talk to all people, and that's why they fucking hate him. That's why they hate him. Because he's like, I have billions of dollars. The fuck do I need to talk to you people for? You guys are fucking retarded. He's like, I want to talk to the people out there, who live in the real world. They have to work real world jobs. That's what he wants to do. It's not hard. You think Joe Biden has ever fucking flipped a shovel of dirt in his life? I think Joe Biden, who's been in politics since he was literally 20 years old, was elected at 20, got into politics and sworn in at 21, and has never, ever, 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 ever left the system. I'm just saying. You pick your fighter. I know who I'm picking. The convicted felon. Instead of Pedo Pete.
Different question than that how question. My question is why. I understand how. I know you got a thick skin. You're not one of those people that's afflicted with the need to be loved by
Yeah,
strangers.
he does.
I get that.
I think that's true.
My question is not how do you do it. My question is why do you do it? Why do you? Because let's face it. I mean, you're a billionaire. You got a great family. You're a very dedicated father. People may not see this in you a lot because you keep that kind of private. But my question to you is why do you subject yourself to this?
So there's a movement in this country. It's called MAGA. And Biden's always fighting it. We will stop MAGA. MAGA is Make America Great Again. And we were doing, I had an administration that was a tremendous success. Even enemies. I mean, we had the greatest economy in history. We had the best job numbers in history. That's why I'm
The best economy in the last 50 years. 50. 50. 50. Oh, congratulations to Joe Biden for having the worst inflation in 40 years. Congratulations, you old bitch. You did it. Also, at the same time, again, we clown Joe Biden. He's barely lucid. I think he's getting the Elvis treatment. They're pumping him full of adrenaline and whatever the fuck else. And he's like, oh, Donald Trump is the worst ever. And it's like, and it lasts for like 20 minutes and he can make a speech. Revenge says, because they hate those who actually care about what the people want. FYI, what the people want is what matters. Damn elitists. Yes, they hate us all. The elites fucking hate us all. They look at us as like cockroaches that scurry around their feet and they're like, just go build my building, Jesus. I need a new cheesecake. I mean, I need new Saks Fifth Avenue because the last one burned down in Los Angeles. Okay, it was righted, but I need my Saks. And this is how these idiots talk. Just watch the Kardashians. Watch them. They're like, we're going to the store and we're gonna get some Gatorade. It's like okay. Is there more? Well, yeah, we're gonna drive back home. All right, you retard. Yeah, yes, revenge. That's a good one. I'm more mega, as in make everything great again. That is incredible, dude. If you don't mind if I steal that a little bit to kind of like institute it, because quite frankly, and I think you should start using that on Twitter, and I'll do the same thing because mega, make everything great again is incredible. Matt says some of Trump's economic numbers were the best since the post-Civil War recovery period. That's true. It's very true. It's true, and they hate him for that. He says, "Dude, have at it," and I'm assuming that's a salute and an American flag, because when I tried to put an American flag in a live stream description, it put the I don't know what that means, but yeah, it's weird. Revenge says, "Ugh, I can't even stand the name Kardashian." Yeah. I kind of feel like Kanye was right. Just say. That being said, we're still not taken down. So maybe if I keep the window small, we can keep going. Here we go.
I'm doing so well with the black.
I'm going to keep streaming until this is done. Even if I have to let it run while I run to the bathroom for like 2 minutes, we're going to do this. There's nobody behind the scenes other than me. It's just me. I don't have a Jed, the Hollywood scholar. He turned me down. Jed, why do you hate my soul? I'm kidding. Jed and I are friends.
Black and Hispanic vote. They had the best job numbers they've ever had. We were doing things that were incredible. And I was going through Russia hoax. I was going through the impeachment stuff, all of that. And, in one way, I jokingly said, somebody said, can you imagine what he could have done? Because I had one of the most successful presidencies. And yet I was constantly fighting off the radical left lunatics. They are deranged. They are. It's like a derangement syndrome. But I actually said, maybe in some ways I did better because I showed something. But maybe if I had too much time on my hands, it would have gone too far, and the administration wouldn't have been as successful as it was. When you look at our job numbers, I rebuilt the military, largest tax cuts ever. Largest tax cuts, bigger than the Reagan tax cuts.
But higher
largest
revenue.
regulation cuts ever.
I'm staying with my why question because
What is up there? Keely Chow says, hey, everybody. Well, hello there, Keely Chow. Welcome to the show, and we're having fun. And we're still wildly live. Part of me thinks that that's a weird glitch that happened. What's going on? What's going on is that we are talking about the Trump Dr. Phil interview, and also at the same time, we got to say roll tide. We got to say roll tide for you. You know what I'm saying? Been a long time watcher. Roll tide for Keely Chow. Also at the same time, shout out to me. My team, the Denver Broncos, one of the only teams in the nation to not do the pride flag logo. Go Broncos. Oh, it's so sad that we celebrate the little things of people not pandering from corporations who are retarded.
look at this. Everybody calls it inflation, but affordability. When we talk about gasoline under your administration, average $2.57 a gallon. Under Biden, $3.61, 40% more.
Oops.
Under your administration, homes average $320,000. Under the Biden administration, 31% more, $420,000.
$420,000. And you wonder why Americans can't afford apartments or homes or anything like that, rent, electricity, cars. But hey, guys, we're building back better. Building back better. Just quite frankly, wish it didn't hurt so much when it gets crammed up your ass. Revenge says Steelers didn't do it either. Kudos to them. That's right. Steelers didn't. Hey, we got to take the little wins where we can get them because quite frankly, I remember last year my team did it. They didn't do it this year. You know why? Because, yeah, Andy Pickle, Bidenomics, baby. Yeah, Bidenomics right up your ass.
Under your administration, interest rates 3.8 average. Under the Biden administration, 39% more at 5.3%. Okay, now let's look at the border. Under you, average 1.7 million border crossings. Their official number is 6.4. That's from Homeland Security. It's actually about 13 million because I know I've been to the border. I've talked to the border guards down there, Brandon Judd. I've talked to Jason Jones. I've talked to the people that actually know the numbers. They say it's between 10 and 13 million. So my point is when you look at the actual numbers, plus the things you just talked about, lower taxes, higher tax revenue, you look at that and you would say, my God, he should be running unopposed. I mean, why?
And these numbers, I appreciate it, and these numbers are really, I don't know who made them up.
Very conservative.
As an example, I'd get
Yes, not to use the term conservative lightly, but those are very conservative, as in low numbers for the border. It says Thugonomics greater than Bidenomics. I'll take that. Yeah, I'll take that. Also, at the same time, I'm going to put the link for this interview in the description. So if you guys want to watch it, unfiltered stuff like that, without my commentary, without my faces of like making weird shit like that. So Andy says, reminds me of a lawyer that I used to advertise the Metroplex. Only truthful lawyer ever. His ad said, well, get every penny you got coming to you. That's true. It's true.
gasoline down to $1.87, not $2.57. It's now almost at $4. It's going to be at $5 very shortly.
Right.
It's going way up.
I took very conservative
Yeah.
numbers so people couldn't
Well,
argue with
interest
them.
rates, I was at 2.6%. They have 3.8. And now they're at 9%, 10%. You can't get money. So, we did a great job. We did a great job.
Okay, so here's the question. Most people look at this from the standpoint of, they ask themselves the question, is my life
Oh. Oh. The stream.
Better
There it
under
is.
this administration,
It paused. It wasn't me. It was the stream. It paused.
or
for
is
some
it
reason.
better under this administration? My quality of life, my ability to pay for my children's lunches, tennis shoes, getting them to the dentist, getting all of the different things that go to quality of life. And when we look at that, it's not even a close call.
right.
So why are people so energized against President Donald J. Trump?
Well, I think it's, to a certain extent, it's habit, not necessarily against me. I think Democrats vote out of habit. I'll give you an example. I was the best president for Israel ever. Golan Heights.
It's called Blue No Matter Who, and quite frankly, they suck the farts out of their own buttholes and huff them. I'm just saying, it's a thing. It's called Blue No Matter Who. You see it all over Twitter. They're like going, "I'm blue no matter who," and it's like, really? Like you can't think for yourself? No, they're the bestest ever. Okay. It's just these weird blue no matter who. And Joe Rogan talks about it all the time. These people are mouth breathers. Yes, I said mouth breathers because quite frankly they are. They're fucking retarded, and quite frankly they can't see beyond their own fucking nose because life's been too good. I don't know. They've been coddled. They need to find something to fight for. It's weird. I don't get it.
All of the things I did for Israel, and yet I get less than 50% of the votes. It's shocking to me. And Biden's a disaster, and Obama was a disaster for Israel with the Iran
Yep.
nuclear deal that he approved, all the, which was basically a path toward nuclear weapons. And I say, why? And I say, it's habit. They're used to voting for Democrats. Black people are used to voting for Democrats, but they're coming off it. They're smart.
That's true. That's very true. That's very true. That is a demographic that Democrats pander to every single fucking time. It's black people. Joe Biden famously said, "If you don't know if you're voting for me or Donald Trump, then you ain't black." I'm sorry, did you just tell black people that if they don't vote for you against Donald Trump, they're not black? What are they? Brown, chocolate, white, KKK, neo Nazis? Like what are they, Joe? It's the stupidest shit I've ever fucking heard, and it was just skated on by, skated on by. Well, Joe Biden may have some racist tendencies. I heard this one too. Joe Biden may have some racist tendencies, but he's not as racist and homophobic and bigoted as Donald Trump. And it's like, so you pick the racist white guy against the supposed other one who's been taken out of context for years.
Seeing what's happened. They're seeing criminal justice reform. They're seeing the black colleges and universities. I got it funded. They're seeing all of the things that I've done. Nobody could do what I did. I say that, and people sometimes smile, but it's actually true. I'm the best president for black people since Abraham Lincoln. And black people are seeing that. And we have numbers now that as a Republican, I don't think anybody's ever had. I hope they come out and vote for me.
I was just in Jerusalem and interviewed Prime Minister Netanyahu.
Yeah.
He said that the Abraham Accords,
Yeah.
which you achieved, he said he didn't have the words to describe what it presented for Israel in terms of security, in terms of the ability to bring about peace and stability to that region.
That's very nice, by the way, that you say that. And by the way, great for the Arab community also.
Of
It was
course.
great for both.
Yeah,
And they're working so well. The only problem is we had 4 countries sign, real leaders. I would have had everybody signed up. I would have had Iran signed up. People laugh when I say that. Iran was
Iran would have been the last holdout. Iran is a terrorist country. It funds, and this is statistically relevant, it funds the vast majority of terrorism in the whole entire world. It's not even close. Not even close. But the problem is, though, is that Iran is now getting a little wild since Russia's been getting a little wild. Now, again, the whole thing about Russia. All right, look, I can actually spread some light on that. Russia's borders were like, all right, look, y'all got NATO, we got us, the former USSR, now Russia. Don't encroach on us. We won't encroach on you. Let's keep those border states. It's kind of like the demilitarized zone of North and South Korea. Don't infringe upon that. We're not going to infringe upon you. We can all be civil. Maybe we're not best friends, but we might knock a beer back every, couple of decades, right? That's all Russia asked. Guess what? Ukraine, one of the most corrupt countries in the history of the modern world, is that border. Donald Trump was impeached first time for Ukraine. First time for Ukraine. They called it corrupt. And now all of a sudden, you have people like Adam Kinzinger, who says in his fucking bio, he's like, Slava Ukraini, fuck you, dude. Go eat a fucking dick. You were a fucking lieutenant colonel and you're a fucking loser. No, you're a loser. You weren't boots on the ground. You've never seen it. Quite frankly, I don't think you've ever actually seen probably a dead body face to face. And quite frankly, the fact that you think that I'm not a fan of Vladimir Putin, but guess what? He didn't do shit under this man over here. Other way. He didn't do anything. It wasn't until all of a sudden, like, we got doddering Joe Biden. Ukraine, you got weapons. The same thing is going to happen with China and Taiwan. Yes, revenge. Zelensky is a fucking prick. He's a prick. He sucks. The fuck is all? Oh, also the what the clerical error too? That's $6 billion. The clerical error for Ukraine. It got lost in our system, our financial system, and then all of a sudden they're like, "Oh, we found it. We found that error. We're going to send it to Ukraine too." And again, sending it to Ukraine means more guns, more ammo, more weapons, more body armor, stuff like that. You know that $6 billion could have rebuilt Maui from the fires and every family that lost that. I'm just saying they're indigenous people could have rebuilt their homes. They still don't have homes. No homes. For the people who lost everything in the Maui fires, they have nothing. $6 billion could have rebuilt that. All their homes. But yeah, for anybody watching who doesn't agree with me, and I've watched the counter go up and then people bounce back down and then go back up and people bounce back down, which y'all been pretty mellow if you don't agree with me. $6 billion could have rebuilt Samoan homes. Yes. Welcome to Iwalani Manuel Coates. Spank it, yo. Lahaina is still a mess for plans of a smart city. Yes. The government is talking about it, confiscating that because people are going to abandon their land because it's still 10 months after the fires. It is still not habitable. The government talked about confiscating that land about 5 weeks after it happened. 5 weeks. No, I'm not joking. The federal government under Biden is full of parasites. And even under Trump, I'm not saying that, yes, forced evacuation was planned. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Also, at the same time, the individual who was actually should have been in charge of the emergency management system is weird. He was on Oahu. Um, he was attending a FEMA conference, and he didn't get back to Maui for 3 days. He was texting his assistant, like going, "Hey, laugh out loud. How's the fires going? Still raging?" And she's like, "Yeah, still a shit show here." These are actual text messages that were leaked, subpoenaed, and leaked. All right, so yes, where are the 1K plus kids still missing? Zip, not a zilch. No. No. People who are burned alive. Oh, they also turned the water off to these people. They turned the water off. They're like, well, the resorts, we usually we put the water supply mostly to the resorts. We're not going to divert them to the families in the path of a fire. So maybe you could turn your garden hose on and I don't know, at least hose something with some water. Maybe try to save your house. No, not going to do that. Ugh. Revenge says exactly like. Did you even think about Maui, Biden, Harris? Did you? No, they didn't. They don't. They don't care. They don't care. They don't care. They're blue no matter who. And President Joe Biden is the bestest in the history of the world. Even though, quite frankly, the diary came out and Ashley Biden confirmed that yes, her father showered with her and touched her weirdly. So shout out to that. Shout out to all you losers who can't get out of your own way. You can't stop sniffing your own fucking farts. You can't stop thinking that like you have a mental illness called TDS and you're like he's a Nazi. He's a fascist. It's like there's only one person. It's really weird too, quite frankly, that uh a former president was wrongfully convicted, as we just saw, because juror talking to their cousin about it. How about that Epstein list? Who's on that? Who's protecting that Epstein list? Ghislaine Maxwell couldn't traffic children to people without people to traffic them to, but she's in jail for felonies of trafficking children. Who'd she traffic them to? Who? Who did she traffic them to? Ooh. All right. I gotta cool it. I'm getting a little worked up. This is the freest country in the history of the world, and we got lots of problems. We better remember what this means in November. Every fucking hat I wear, every fucking shirt I wear anymore has an American flag on it because I served in the U.S. military. Even though it was said on Twitter that I didn't, but I don't care. Biffin is a disgusting president who paid Zelensky blood money to cover his spot on Epstein's list. Plus, there is a secret lab. Yes, there was. There were labs in Ukraine. And see, this is actually something that I love. You phrased it perfectly. Democracy is an illusion, and that's what every single one of these idiots on the far left say. Democracy is in danger. Our democracy is in danger from far right extremists or fascists or Nazis or whatever. The states are a direct democracy. Our country is a constitutional republic, a representative republic. I'll even give you a democratic republic. There are laws that says the states get to outweigh the need. The states get to take care of their citizens and get to tell the federal government to go fuck off. So, all right, bro, shake it up, bro. Shake it up. Got a little
was broke.
I got a little fiery.
I said, anybody buys from Iran, you can't do business with the U.S. Iran was broke. They were down to almost no money. They had no money to fund Hamas or Hezbollah. They had no money. They were broke. They would have made a deal within a week after the election. That result was very dangerous for our country. But we did great things, and I think that's what people see. People want to go back to where we were.
You had high-level appointee positions that you didn't fill,
Right.
and thousands more mid-level positions that you didn't fill, and generated over $4 trillion in tax revenue for the first time ever.
Right.
With tax cuts, lower tax rates, higher tax
It
revenues.
brought business into the country.
So why are people so energized against you? Are you getting out messaged?
I think, no, I really
He's not getting out messaged. No, what he's being done is he's being censored by actors through the media, social media, other than Twitter. Sorry, Elon. I'm always going to call it Twitter. And we saw from the Twitter files that yes, they are censoring people, especially during the coup. Be like, going, get the poke. The poke's the best thing ever. Be like, going, go get that jab. What are you doing? Like, going, what? Oh, you're killing grandma. The president, the current president of the United States says, we're getting tired of you. And we're getting, what did he say? We're getting tired or fed up. Something like that. We're getting fed up with you anti-vaxxers. I'm sorry, old man. You can go fuck the hell off. Come and take it, bitch. Go ahead. Go ahead. Come to my door. What are you going to do? You want to make me take the jab? No, you're not. And then there are videos of Fauci. Thank you, Disney, for this one. You guys are the best on that. There were videos of Anthony Fauci going with a team of people door to door trying to push the poke in predominantly black neighborhoods. And guess what? You know what they told them? Fuck you. They're like going, we trusted the government once before. You ever heard of the Tuskegee experiment? Yeah. You think black people are going to trust you? What's weird is that, quite frankly, white liberal women just throw themselves at Joe Biden's feet, like going, yes, daddy, please just tell me what to do. Like going, are you serious? Are you serious? Yes, this is what is skewing the elections in a massive direction. White liberal, educated from university women who are usually like 57 years old and haven't had any kids and never been married, and they're live with 57 cats. Yep. I gotta stop interjecting. Oh, we still have literally a half an hour left.
I believe it's 100 years.
I'm enjoying this though. This is a great stream.
As an example, with African Americans, for 100 years, the Democrats have run the cities. 100 years. I used to say 50. They said, you're wrong. I said, you have to be kidding. It's 100 years. It's a habit. They get used to it. But they're learning that habit's being broken in a lot of different ways. I also think you have a fake news that doesn't report it the way they should be reporting it. Look, the news has been proven to be totally fake. And it's 95% on the other side. That's the thing I don't understand. Why do people want open borders where millions of people have come into our country, and you see what's happening to the crime rate? You know, a stat came out the other day that's scary. In Venezuela, Caracas, different cities, they've moved many of these criminals out into the United States and now happily in a location near you, right near your house.
Yeah. Venezuela, the Congo, they're emptying the prisons.
At the Congo, we have many, many people coming out of the prisons of the Congo. But the prison populations are way down all over the world. Nobody wants to talk about it. Prison population and mental institutions, something you deal with a lot. You know more about a mental institution than I do. That's your world. It's what you do better than anybody as far as I'm concerned. You know the population of mental institutions is way down because they've moved a lot of the most seriously ill people into our country. And Venezuela just announced that they're 72% down in crime from 2 years ago. Think of that. Because they moved their, I mean, you don't have to be a genius to realize they moved their prisoners out, but they moved their
Yes, this is actually stated fact that South American countries have let their prisoners out of jail and say, we will leave and let you be if you walk to America. Just go. That's true. That is not a joke. They are emptying their jails and sending their criminals to us. Because again, the border is basically like a waterfall of shit falling on this country. Imagine standing underneath a sewage pipe, opening your mouth and saying, "Let it rain, baby." That's what our southern border is. That's not saying anything bad about people who want a better life. I support immigration 100% from all countries. You do it the right way. I'm an American. I can't cross the Canadian border without a passport. I can't do it. If I went to the Canadian border right now without a passport and said, I want to be a citizen or let me in, they'd be like going, do you have a passport? Like, do you have your paperwork? What you got? I'll be like, no. And then I just make a mad dash for it. Also, at the same time, thank you. Thank you so much for liking the stream and subscribing. I appreciate that. Seriously. Um, YouTube is throttling videos. Um, they're throttling all my videos, covering pop culture, and Disney, political stuff. Because again, YouTube doesn't like that. They don't like that. They don't like the big corporations like Disney and the Democratic Party and stuff like that. They tell YouTube, they tell Google, these are the messages we want you to put through. They most likely give them money, and the weirdos that work there agree with that. So that being said, I can't go to the Canadian border right now, and I cannot cross without a passport or actual paperwork. Period. And if I ran the checkpoint, guess what? The Canadian police are going to chase me down. They're probably going to put a taser in my back. I'm going to flop on the ground, and they're going to arrest me. Weird. It's almost like Canada has borders. So if Canada has borders against Americans, why can't we have borders against Mexico? How's that racist? Just for the record, there are many different ethnicities of Canadians and many different ethnicities of Americans. If a black American goes to the Canadian border, they're not going to be like going, "Welcome, black friend." They're not going to do that. What are you talking about? Like, do you have your passport? No. Is it at home? Did you forget it? Oh yeah, I forgot it. Okay, well go home and then come back. Oh, I don't have a passport. I want a better life in Canada because I think Justin Trudeau is the bestest ever. But you don't have a passport? No. Did you apply for citizenship? No. Go away. Go away. That's how the world works. You don't get free shit. Sorry, guys. Well, everybody here understands that.
their gangs, all the gang members are now in the United States, happily living in the United States. The United States of America has become a dumping ground because of a very mentally deficient president. And it's not him. I don't believe it's him. I do think he knows what's going on. I think he's sort of an evil guy. But he's not at the top of his game, and he never was very good at it. If you look at his foreign policy for years and years and years, you look at how bad he was on the crime bill in the 1990s, how he's been bad at everything, and he got lucky. Look, he ran 3 or 4 times when he would be, let's say, in normal shape, in good shape.
That's true, Matt. That's true. There are places in the United States and Canada where there's literally just a line where you go, and it's the same town. It is the same town, but it is different nationalities. It is a different country. Same town, split down the middle of Main Street. I'm in Canada. I'm in America. I'm in Canada. I'm in America. Nobody cared. Not anymore. Not anymore. we just I, I love how so we're teetering at a certain amount of level of viewership and we go it's like the controversy just keeps on coming. They're like going, "Oh, I like what he said. Oh, he likes Trump or whatever." I don't know. what look, everybody here is welcome. All opinions are welcome. You could say that Barack Obama was the best president of our lifetime. I'm going to say no and disagree with you, and we can have an honest conversation. That's the difference between my channels and Twitter. You could say that you love Disney Star Wars for this reason. I'm going to say I didn't really care for it for that reason, but I may have liked this part of Disney Star Wars, and we can have a conversation. The problem with other people on a certain side that supports Joe Biden is that you're not allowed to have a difference of opinion. If you don't toe the line, they hate you. They hate you. They hate your guts. They call black people Uncle Toms for supporting Trump. They call black people Uncle Toms. You see it. You see the screenshots of them talking to black men and women, calling them the N-word. And it's like, if you don't support Joe Biden, then you're it's like, did you just call somebody a really? Like, are you serious? What is wrong with you? But no, because these people are bitter, they're angry, and quite frankly, the Democratic Party, even though it used to be level-headed liberals who were freedom of speech, pro rights for everybody, they've shifted. Not all of them. Not all of them. No, not all of them. Maybe about a good 40%, 35%, but they are captivated. These liberals from like the 90s, the 2000s, people who used to be able to have a conversation with, be able to talk to, they have been hijacked by these people who are so incensed and so angry that if you don't, they're the ones that go into San Francisco streets, mostly blue. People are eating dinner and they scream at you, say Black Lives Matter, or we're going to keep yelling at you. And there are videos of this surrounding people while they're eating. A bunch of freaking college age kids screaming at them, say Black Lives Matter, say Black Lives Matter. And it's like, there's a dude and his wife, and like they're trying to eat it. And it's like, you realize that they probably voted for Gavin Newsom too, right? You idiots. Back to the brown shirts. Appreciate it, man. Thank you. Yeah, no, I mean, look, I'm very live and let live. But I've been blasted this month because a lot of people don't understand. It's like June is PTSD awareness month for soldiers, police officers, firefighters, paramedics, but it is hijacked by this month. I have gay friends. I have family members that are LGBT. I remember when it was just LGBT and that made sense. Now it's just like, LGBTQI plus, plus or minus sign, ampersand, 3.164, and divided by 2. I don't get that. I was cool with it beforehand. I was very supportive beforehand. When it was Pride weekend, I was all for it. Like it was funny. I worked for a post office that in St. Petersburg, Florida. Pride weekend was staged right there because that post office was right downtown. It was the main office. I loved driving back and seeing all the floats and all the people having fun, and like everybody it was cool. I had no problem with that. Now you get a whole month and it's like, if you don't change your logo, if you don't say, if you don't support this, if you don't support that, if you don't support trans and the kids, it's like they call you these names, and they, quite frankly, I actually had somebody saying that because I was like, veterans don't get a whole, veterans and people who have lost their lives protecting this country don't get a whole entire month. And they're like, if I was right in front of you right now in all my pride gear, be like, going, bet you wouldn't say that to my face, would you? And I'm like, no, I would. I don't have a problem with you being gay or straight or trans or lesbian. But these people get so angry. They get so angry that you don't acknowledge them. I'm like going, bro, dude, I can support you over here and saying, hey, you do you, but you don't get a whole month. And quite frankly, you don't get to push it on the kids. That's child abuse. Taking kids to a parade where there's assless chaps is child abuse. If I took a kid to a strip club, that's child abuse. So, all right. No. Oh, this might be my longest stream on this one ever.
Failed. He got
Thank you everybody for watching again. You guys are awesome. Seriously.
it when he shouldn't be here. He shouldn't be here. And he's dealing with President Xi, who I know very well. And he's dealing with Putin, who I know very well. And he's dealing with all of these leaders of these countries they don't like the United States. They don't like what it represents. And they are at the top of their game. They are vicious. They love their country, or they want success. You define it any way you want. We've become a failing nation. We're a nation that's in tremendous trouble. We have months ago, we have somebody
I don't get it.
negotiating for us and dealing for us who is not up to par. He's not, and I'm not even saying now. I think 25 years ago he wasn't up to par, but he's dealing with President Xi of China. He's dealing with President Putin of Russia. He's dealing with Kim Jong-un of North Korea. He's dealing with very tough people that really are at the top of their game. I know them all. I know many more than that. And our country's in tremendous danger of World War III. You look at what's going on with Ukraine now. You see what's happening, where they're talking about nuclear. They're bringing out the N-word, as I say. And they're talking about nuclear weapons, and they're talking about things that were never, in my White House, nobody ever uttered the word nuclear. Nuclear is
The only person who challenged President Trump nuclear wise was Rocket Man from North Korea, Kim Jong-un, who literally was conducting tests over Japan, trying to terrify Japan. And guess who went into literal North Korea, crossed the demilitarized zone alone? Of course, there were Secret Service snipers behind him, and shook Un's hand in North Korea. The man on the screen, President Donald John Trump, went to North Korea soil and shook Kim Jong-un's hand. And guess what? Said, you know what? Stop it. Stop it. And it started with, because Un is like, I got a button. And President Trump's like, oh, my button's bigger. And it's true. And guess what? The rocket test stopped until after 2020. The only president I can, in my whole entire lifetime, maybe even ever, who stepped foot in North Korea since they've hated us for the last 4 decades. 4 decades. Maybe going on 5. 40 to 50 years they've hated us. And the Secret Service told him, don't go over there. Do not step into North Korea. And he's like, I'm going over there. I'm going over there. He's like, y'all watch my back. I'm going over there. And he's talked about that. How he's like, we had snipers here. We had snipers there. He's like going, was it smart? Probably no. Probably not. But how do you get diplomacy with a country that hates Western society? Sometimes you just got to be like, oh, dude, I got a bigger D, and maybe let's just make a little bit nice. Let's stop this. It's bullshit. It's what it was. Obama wasn't invited into the Imperial City by Xi Jinping. Guess who was? President Trump and First Lady Melania Trump. They were invited to. In the mainstream media chastised them for Kim Jong-un, Xi Jinping meeting with Putin. These people who are ideologically and politically against the United States and our mainstream media, CNN, MSNBC, they all chastised him for this. And now it's flipped. It's flipped. It's nonsensical. And look, the first time I ever voted, I voted for Barack Obama. I admit it. Did it. I believe the whole yes we can. The first time I ever voted I voted for Obama. The other times I voted, guess who I voted for? 2016, 2024. So, uh, so real quick, we got somebody on Rumble. Real fast. We'll get to that. Yes. Revenge says Real Pride Month is next month. Because we are Americans celebrate American pride. That's right. The U.S. flag represents us all of us, every single one of us. Flawed, not flawed, gay, straight, trans, black, white, Asian, all of us. The American flag represents all of us. All of us. We are Americans through and through. That is it. That is the beauty of this country. We are all Americans, every single one of us. And anybody can be an American. Anybody can apply to be an American. You can come from Greece. You can come from Australia. You can come from Japan and apply to be an American citizen and be an American citizen. All right. So, praxis seizure. Hopefully I said that right. Liberals being ideologues in their youth never grew up and noticed the room. That's true. Dumbest based. Thank you for watching on Rumble. Weirdly, my Rumble has been I've been streaming there every stream. Hasn't been growing. Bush, both of them were fuckers because they could be. Yes. I hated George W. Bush. I mean, it was funny when he was dodging shoes. He's like, ooh, shoes. That was funny, but outside the weirdo U.S. Obama and Big Mike are a gay couple. You can say that. You can say that on Rumble. Yeah, it's just funny. Yeah. Yeah, vote for McCain or Romney. Give me a break. Yeah, that's true. It's true. It says, I don't blame you. It's easy to be delusional. It's hard to stand your ground. It's very true. Revenge says, same with me. I was drinking the Obama aid. That's good. Back in 2008. I was 18 at the time. 2008, I didn't vote in that one. I voted in 2012. I was old enough to vote. I was 20, but I didn't vote. And when I first voted, but 2012, not again. Yeah, no. So you and I flopped. You voted in 2008. I voted in 2012, both for Obama. I wised up in 2016 and haven't looked back. I have an issue with a group of people who, again, Obama was extremely well spoken, very well spoken. He was inspirational. He's also full of shit. Do I buy into the whole thing where, he wasn't born on this soil? I don't know. I don't care. He was elected president twice. It is what it is. So it's not like we can go back and be like, oh no, you can't run for president. He was already president twice. So Andy says, I haven't voted since Perot, but Clinton I haven't voted since Perot put Clinton into office. Andy, what are you doing? Let's vote in 2024. Come on, man. Get registered. I moved from Florida. I changed my driver's license. The first fucking thing I did. They're like, would you like to register to vote? Yes. Come on, Andy. Come on now. Matt says Obama is a natural born citizen. His mother is a natural born citizen. That is true. That's very true. It's very true. I never bought into that. I think it was something that, and of course, this is nothing against. This is who Donald Trump is. He sees somebody who opposes him, who comes after him. He's a businessman. He's like, enemy number one, get enemy. I'm all for it. if you're a billionaire businessman, that's how you've had to do things. So no, I mean, and quite frankly, it seemed that all the talks between him and Obama as they transitioned from Obama to him seemed to be nice. Also at the same time, he didn't throw Hillary Clinton in jail. So it's weird that Hillary Clinton, who had classified documents on literally a personal server, again, classified documents on a compromised server is, quote, again, should be no different than in a storage closet next to the bathroom. Both are technically accessible. The difference is, though, one was president. Secretary Clinton never was. All right, so let's get back to this. Sorry, guys. I'm down for a 3-hour stream. Let's go. Let's go.
A very bad word because of the power of weaponry. And we have a man that should not be dealing, and we're going to end up in a nuclear war. We're going to end up in world.
Okay, Andy. All right, cool. Yeah, no, it's Miss Duncan, Miss Gamma had links to the BHO appropriating groomed for politics with a stolen SSN from a deceit. Really? I didn't know that. Interesting. If you have an article for that, or maybe a source for more information, please send that to legionwire2076 at gmail.com. legionwire2076 at gmail.com. I will cover that more in detail. I did not know that.
World War III with this guy. And if the 5 months is a long time. We have 5 months to go before the election. Now it's even a little bit less. It's getting to be very close. Remember, you have early voting in September 22nd. You know, Pennsylvania goes September 22nd. Yeah. So it's really less, quite a bit less. But
also, ladies and gentlemen, please vote in person. None of this mail-in ballot crap. Go in person. Early voting, stand in line, scan your thing through the machine, go in person. Do not vote online. Do not vote through the mail. Don't. I've worked for the post office. Quite frankly, they used to take that very seriously of getting ballots to be counted on time until 2020, where all of a sudden the post office is like, well, we had some ballots that we didn't get in there in time. It's like, no. There were problems in 2020 with the post office dragging ass, which in previous elections, I worked there for 10 years. There was never an issue. They're like, if you have ballots, you are to be here by this time to drop them off. If you must drop them off, and then if you have to go back out and finish another 30 minutes of your route, you got to do it. Yes. Trump is weird. Trump is literally an anomaly. He is probably an anomaly that we have not seen in probably the last 150 years. Vote in person. Vote in person. It's okay. You can, if you vote early, you'll stand in line for maybe 5 to 10 minutes. Do it. Show your ID. It's not racist, by the way, to show your ID. You have to show your ID to buy cigarettes and liquor, and stand in line, cast your vote, do it the right way. That goes for Democrats too. Stand in line, cast your vote the right way. Penny, thank you for being here. Good night. Have a great night. Thank you so much. You're a massive supporter. We love you. Yeah. So it's I gotta stop talking.
I really believe it's a very
Y'all just tell me to shut the hell up if you want to hear the president.
dangerous time because I think they're making moves. They love him as our president. They don't respect him. They think he's weak and incompetent. Now, one thing I'll say, he's surrounded by a lot of fascists and communists, but a lot of fascists, and they're young and they're smart, and that's who's running our country.
Well, let me ask you something then. Let's assume that you inherit a situation where American bombs are being used inside of Russia. Let's assume that you inherit that. We could wind up with World War III if we're not there already and it just hasn't been labeled yet.
We've never been so close to World War III as we are right now.
There could be 100,000 or more potential terrorists on American soil right now today, given what's happened at the southern border.
Correct.
Chinese.
And we do have Venezuela, Congo, others that are emptying.
It is factually correct. There are Chinese-age military men in this country that has come through the southern border. There are also checkpoints, and they're labeled in Chinese up through to get to the border. But I mean, nothing to see here, guys. Also, at the same time, again, I'm not a massive fan of Vladimir Putin, but again, his rules were clear. Don't encroach on the border states, the border countries between us and NATO, and we're good. Ukraine is one of those countries, and yet we have politicians in this country saying, "Free Ukraine. Ukraine needs to be part of NATO." No, no, and no. 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 Ukraine, fight for yourself. We're out of it. Sorry, fam. We're not even on the European continent, the United States. You need a damn freaking Russian submarine to get fucking here. I'm just saying. We're not involved. Stop it. Same with Israel. We're funding Israel, but again, our politicians won't say, "Hey, man, I understand that Hamas is terrible because they're terrorists. They're using the Gazan people as shields. I'm sorry, the Gaza and the Palestinian people as shields. It's terrible. It's ugly. It's awful. Ease up a little bit. October 7th was terrible. Ease up a little bit. Let's not go beaded glass just yet. If you don't, we're going to pull funding. It's not that hard. It's not a hard conversation. Our president had a fucking nutsack. Oh wait, it's too busy. It's too busy in the shower with his fucking daughter Ashley.
Their prisons of their most dangerous criminals with one caveat: we'll let you out, but you go to the United States.
I believe every country is doing it.
Yeah. And it's,
By the way, if you were the head of a country,
Well-
you'd be the first one to do it. I know you. You'd
mean-
say, "What? Let's get rid of these." You know the money they save and the danger they save.
and look at this map that I did a show about this. The red is where Chinese government has funded buying major farmland.
Yeah.
And
This should be concerning to every American ever. Just for the record, the red is literally all Chinese funded quote farmland. Let's see, how many naval bases are in naval/army bases, Air Force bases are in Florida? Oh wait, a shitload. How many are in Texas? A shitload. Oh wait, where's one of the most strategic commands in the country? Colorado. It's called NORAD. Utah, Oregon, California, Arizona. Like going. Yeah, it's not great, guys. It's not great. Stop selling shit to the Chinese. They hate us.
And then superimposed on that are some of our most strategic military bases. And you can see there's
Matt, that's true, but the Saudis, they don't hate our guts like the Chinese do. Also, at the same time, the Chinese actually sell us very cheap communications equipment. They're like going, "Hey, man, y'all see that y'all see that place where with airplanes and stuff like that? You know, we'll say this stuff like real cheap, and then it's like TikTok. There's spyware." I'm just saying, if you buy shit from China, like TikTok, it's full of spyware. But look, that's been a problem for a long time now. We sold out to the Chinese because Americans like my cheap stuff. We fucked up. We need to start making things in a more friendly country or in America itself. So that's on us.
There's Dugway Proving Ground. That's military equipment, biological, chemical weapons. They're surrounding it. Utah Test Training Range, the largest supersonic authorized restricted airspace in the United States. Whiteman Air Force Base, B-2 Spirit Stealth Bomber Base, missile drone operations, MQ-9 Reaper, Global Strike Command 3, Air Force, entire Bomber Force Nuclear Command Control and Communications. Fort Liberty, Airborne Special Operations Forces, Rapid Deployment. We've allowed them to come in and buy up agricultural land, wind farms, no wind, no blades on some of the towers, but they're surrounding our military bases.
Right.
We've allowed that to take place. You may come in and inherit all of this, and it may get worse over the next 5 months.
It will.
What are you going to do about that?
Well, first of all, you mentioned a thing, Fort Liberty. Used to be Fort Bragg. We won world wars from Fort Bragg.
Yes.
And they changed the name. And I don't even want to say that they spent $37 million in doing it, because that's not the most important thing, but that's a lot of money. You know,
pretty
that's
disgusting.
Now, I will say this. We want to let people come in and invest in our country at the same time.
Of course.
We want them to come and invest. We don't want to make it so impossible. We have to be careful. And this is a lot of land. What disturbs me as much, because we don't want to, say we're not going to let anyone come in and invest. That would be a bad thing. When I
But
was
they don't
young,
need to buy around our...
No, they seem to be.
Ding, 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 ding. Hold on, I got a button for that. Let's maybe keep the communists of all sorts, not just the Chinese, but communism of all sorts, away from our strategic military bases. I'm just saying. Because you know what? A cheap-ass Chinese router only needs to work for, I don't know, 3 months, and then it shits out and it collects and basically I mean, Americans love free Wi-Fi. We are fucking retarded. Who does not go to McDonald's or Taco Bell and be like going, "Oh, free Wi-Fi"? Guess what, dudes? Free Wi-Fi means that they get access to everything you look at. Doesn't matter if you're a strategic command general and you're logging on to the DoD website, or if you're that weirdo in the corner who likes hentai porn and you're logging on. All that data goes through the free Wi-Fi. It's easily accessible, and it is hacked easily as if it's tissue paper on a fucking on a giant log full of razor. I don't know. It's nonsensical. It's nonsensical. That's why VPNs are a thing. So it's what is up, Cavantino? Hey buddy, have to uncloak. Holy smokes, Dr. Philip mentioned something not many people know about. That is true. He did. It's just woof. Free Wi-Fi is awesome, but it's also the devil, because they get all your information for free, and you log on and you give your freedom away. It's true. Your digital freedom is gone.
There seems to be a lot of activity around those nuclear sites, to put it mildly. But the thing, when you mentioned Fort Liberty, I remember that battle. As soon as I got out, they changed it. But they changed many names, almost all of them. They changed the names of these forts, where we won 2 world wars and plenty of other things. And there's a great anger about that.
Well, as you know, they call it presentism. What they do is they take today's cultural standards and apply it to people's conduct 100 years ago, as though 100 years ago they were supposed to predict what the standards were going to be 100 years in the future and behave the way things were going to be 100 years in the future. You can't do that. It's like you drive through a neighborhood when the speed limit is 20, then they come and change it to 10 and say, "I'm going to give you a retroactive ticket." And that's what they're doing. They're holding these people to the standards of today's mores and folkways based on how they behaved back and in that
right.
time. It's called presentism. And so they say, "Oh no, we've got to take these statues down. We've got to change these names because they were behaving in ways that we wouldn't."
y'all remember when Donald Trump said that as they're tearing down Confederate statues, they'll eventually come from Abraham Lincoln? They did. They said that Abraham Lincoln was a white savior and he needed to be destroyed. Slavery has been a thing since the history of humanity has been a thing. Guess what? Congratulations. I'd like to thank all the far leftist losers out there for being so retarded. There are approximately, and yes, this is an approximation from about a year and a half ago, of 29.4 million slaves on the planet to date. So, adjusting for quote Biden inflation, probably about 31.2 million slaves on the planet to this day. Slavery is a human thing. I'm sorry. Human beings are horrible. We are horrible. We can be a hive mind. I'm going to quote Men in Black, a person is smart. People are dumb, panicky, and stupid, and you know it. The majority are in Africa of the slaves. Guess the world didn't really learn its lesson, did it?
Accept today. Well, but it was accepted back then. I'm not saying it's our brightest hour. I'm not saying it's our most shining time. But these people also did great things along with things that we may not be proud of today, but that's who they were at the time.
And it's never, if you know these people, because it's a group of people and they don't represent the big majority, okay? They don't represent,
No.
but it's never good enough. No matter what you do.
No, I
Phil,
call it
it's
tyranny
never-
of the fringe.
Yeah, it's never good enough. You could do all the name changes, all of a sudden they'll find that's a problem. So, in
If
different
you
parts of the
inherit
country,
this, if you inherit bombs in Russia and you have to deal with Putin, if you inherit terrorists on our soil that could attack our energy grid, how do you deal with that?
I will deal with it, and I'll get the war in Ukraine settled and done by the time I get to office. As president-elect, I will get it done. As president-elect, you have great power. I was able to do great deals from the time I got elected in 2016. I was able to do great deals from the time I got elected to the time I got to office in that little, because you have great power there. You need the power of the presidency to do it. I'm going to get the war in Ukraine, if it's not done by that time. Now, it looks like it's getting worse. They're taking weapons now where they can shoot deep into Russia. Where is this going? Here's the problem. With Ukraine, which is right next to, we have an ocean in between. They're in for a tiny fraction of what we're in for. And I know them very well because I did it with NATO. I said, you people are delinquent. We're paying almost the entire cost of NATO. So they excuse the word.
Oh, I don't disagree with this one. If you pay taxes, you are a slave. Truth hurts. If you're rich and connected enough, you don't pay taxes, and therefore you're not slaves. Yeah, no. It started out as basically no taxation without representation. And that's how the country started. We had representation, but now the sad truth is that the majority of our politicians on all sides, they don't represent the people. They say that they do. They say that they represent you and your values and stuff like that. And about I'd say probably in the neighborhood of again, roughly off the top of my head, 29% do. You think AOC represents her district in Brooklyn? No, sorry, the Bronx. No. You know how I know that? Because dude over here, he went to the Bronx and AOC said, you're not welcome. We don't want you. I don't know. It's super weird. There's a lot of people wearing MAGA hats and waving Trump signs. A lot of them were people of color, as they like to call them. It was weird. So no, you are not represented in this country in many instances anymore. Vote these people out. Vote them out. Chuck Schumer, running around with a Ukraine pin on, dude, you are a U.S. Senator, United States Senator. Fuck you. Eat a dick. Quite frankly, get your bulbous ass, bald head out. Because quite frankly, you kind of look like you touch kids. Just gonna say, you look like you touch kids. Well, you and Joe Biden hang out on the weekends. It used to be no taxation without representation, and now there's lots of taxation and minimal representation. We as American citizens, I'm not saying that this, I'm not going to do the whole Tim Pool Civil War crap. That's so like shout out to Tim Pool. I think he does a great job on certain things. Civil War is stupid. Americans don't want to kill Americans for the most part, for the mass majority of the most part. What we don't like is assholes in Hollywood and Washington, D.C. telling us what to do. That's what we don't like.
They screw us on trade, and then on top of that, we're supposed to defend them. And I said, it doesn't work that way. But I didn't want to do that on my first. I let them know my first. When I came back, I didn't want to do it. I was in office for like 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying? But I said, you're not paying your way. And I went back the second time, and I said, you have to pay. Hundreds of billions of dollars was paid. They asked me one question, will you defend us against Russia if we haven't paid? I said, absolutely not. As soon as I said that, oh, and I took a lot of heat from the fake news. The fake news went crazy when I said that, because I said I won't defend them. Now you have the same thing. They paid hundreds of billions of dollars quickly, and that's where it got all the money to do what they're doing now. But remember this. So we're probably in for $250 billion. You know, they just got $62 billion, and now I heard today that they need more money. It's going to never end. Now, you have some people that say it's not a war that should have ever been started. It would have never started if I was president. Putin would have never done it. First of all, energy went up so much that he makes money on it. You know, when you get up to $100 a barrel, I had it at $40 a barrel, Phil. It's so different. Yeah. But it would have never happened. But now it has happened. You know, I sometimes I hate to say almost that it would never have happened. And Israel would have never happened. The attack on October 7th would have never happened because Iran was broke. And Iran wasn't funding Hamas, and they weren't funding any of the terrorists. Hezbollah, all of them. There's like 28 of them. They had no money. They were broke. I said to China, if you buy oil from Iran, you can't do business in the United States. They didn't want to take any chance of that. Everybody stopped. And we had...
Also, unfortunately, the United States is buying oil from Venezuela. Viva la revolución for the communism. Yes, Venezuela is a massive communist fascist country, and we went begging to them when OPEC, yes, from Saudi Arabia, OPEC said no more. We're like going, please, with the oil, please. Oh, and just not too long ago, I think it was like 4 days ago, it was like Monday, Biden's like, I'm releasing so many millions of barrels from the strategic oil supply to lower the cost of gasoline. Guess what we have underneath our feet? America has the largest reserve of oil underneath our feet. I'm not saying you need to tear up everything, but you know what? Drill and do it consciously. Do it conservatively. And conservatively as in, that's fine. It's not hard. There's a middle ground there. We have gold underneath our feet, and we could be energy independent and supply oil to the rest of the world. America has the largest reserve under our feet, and yet gas prices are in the neighborhood of, depending on where you live, $3.30, $3.60. California, $87.57, because quite frankly, you guys are fucking retarded. What are we doing? What are we doing? Andy says, I live in Texas. I know where the oil is. Yes, you do. It's in the United States. We can do drilling so well in this country. We can do it economically, we can do it environmentally. We just need to be given the go ahead. Yes, the government has to play ball with the companies that are drilling. Come together. Guess what? Oil's not going to be a commodity that we drill to fuel our vehicles forever. No. Even Elon Musk says this. But there are certain things we'll always need oil for. So the fact that, like, just Gavin Newsom, who's so fucking retarded, he's like, we're gonna have all electric cars by 2034. Dude, you don't have the environmental and electric grid to run air conditioners in the summer of now without blackouts or what they call brownouts. Yeah, Californians have called them brownouts. I don't know what the fuck that means, but it's like a blackout blight. Like, well, I still have a little bit of electricity, but I can't run my air conditioner in California in the summer when it's 97 degrees. Super. Okay. Shit. Practice is here's a thought. Take all the excess profit from the petrol and shovel it into fusion research. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. And the the petrol companies, they realize they're like, oh, they're not going to be green by 2034. No, it's not going to happen. 2050, maybe 2060. I might be dead. Cool. But companies shift over time. Do you think that Boeing and Lockheed Martin, who started as defense contract, making airplanes that just kill people, or Grumman, eventually these things went to different things. Boeing, 747, 777. Lockheed Martin makes, still to this day, a lot of military applications. The Grumman guys, we went to the moon. They made the lunar lander. Ding, ding, ding. All right. So Cavantino says, paid around $6 a gallon in Tukwila during my last trip to Seattle for Tukwila. I hope I said that right. So it's one of those things that, quite frankly, guys, the innovation is there. Our government is so dependent on this new green energy garbage. I'm just gonna say this. Giant wind turbines, they kill a lot of birds. That doesn't feel very green.
You know, we had no terrorist attacks, and I never wanted to talk about it when I was president because I didn't want to jinx it. I wanted to get up and say, we have had no terrorist. Think of it. During my 4 years, we had no terrorist attacks. This nation is in such danger right now with the people that you're just talking about coming in. And it was interesting because I saw 29,000 Chinese people, and they showed it on camera. They look very strong. They all have their propane stoves. They all have cell phones. They look like military people.
A lot of military-age men have
Yeah,
come
they're
in.
mostly men, and they're mostly of a perfect age for military. And it's almost like, what are they doing? Building a military organization within our country with our help?
Yes.
We have people running our country who are grossly incompetent.
Because again, you have people in this country like going, well, you don't need a gun. Jesus, what, you're gonna shoot people? Like going, you need to shoot a bunch of people at the same time? You know that the United States has the largest military in the history of the world, and on top of that, we have the second largest military in the history of the world. It's called the U.S. population that has firearms, the Second Amendment. People who, if let's say hypothetically, our military was wiped out tomorrow, there are American citizens who take up arms if China decided to invade. China, North Korea, Russia, Iran, whatever, decided to invade. We have the largest gun supply in the history of the world. You know why? Because quite frankly, I don't know about you. I don't want a bunch of dudes kicking in my door, whether they're Chinese, they're Iranian, I'm sorry, they're Russian or they're North Korean, kicking in my door and saying, "Hey, hey, guess what? Your wife, your daughter, they're ours, and I'm gonna kill you and your son, and I'm gonna make them watch, and then we're gonna have our way with them, and then we're going to make them force a new line of like." Do you understand me? Like, history is heinous. It's heinous. Literally, there is a new documentary coming out from Netflix, and it is literally about Nazi Germany and about how these intellectuals have said, we have forgotten the lessons of Nazi Germany, the Third Reich. We've forgotten them. Forgotten them. The only way to stand against tyranny and foreign invasion is for America to be armed. There are only about 898,000 police officers on this continent of America, the United States of America. There's only about 378,000 active duty personnel. You know how many Americans have guns? America has the largest supply of guns in the history of the world at about 412 million. Just saying. Just saying.
Headed up.
And then we look at New York, California, people getting murdered in the streets. So like going, well, it's the guns. Like going, weird. That guy didn't look like he got that gun legally. He didn't look like Steve from down the road.
By a president.
That's pretty funny. 898,000 racist cops. Just kidding. Yeah, I know. True. Just saying.
Should never be there.
Protect yourself and protect your family. You're allowed to. There's nothing wrong with that. If you decide to go outside and mow down a bus full of people, you're the problem.
How do you unravel that?
Well, you have to do it with people, and we'll do it. I have the same thoughts as you do. You know, a lot of common sense to this stuff. It's not, we talked about it before. Conservative, liberal, I don't care. It's common sense. We need borders. We need low taxes. We need good education. We need a strong military. I rebuilt the entire military. The entire military was rebuilt. I built a wall that was so great, and I got Mexico to give us 28,000 soldiers while I was building the wall to keep people out. We didn't have what you have today. We had the lowest day the week that I left office, and it was a sad day for this country. The week that I left office, that's when we had our lowest illegal flow of immigrants coming into our country. And all Biden had to do is leave it in place. I had a thing called Remain in Mexico. They had a Remain in Mexico. How good is that? They had catch and release in Mexico. It was so stupidly run. And all Biden had to do when he goes to the beach, you know, he's always in the beach, right? He thinks he looks good in the bathing suit. Some advisor said, go to the beach, you look great, Joe. And he can't even lift a chair, which weighs about 6 ounces. You know, those chairs that you can lift. They're meant for children and old people to lift. So Joe is in the sand, and he's in the beach, and he's totally decimating everything that we built. We built the strongest border in the history of our country, and we're going to do it again. Just one little thing. In 2016, I got elected maybe because of the border. But that border was a fraction. It was nothing compared to what the border is today. And I fixed it. And you know, in 2020 when I ran, I couldn't even talk about it. Nobody wanted to hear about the border because I fixed it. I'll fix it again. But the border today is many, many times.
Real quick, I will check about that email. While we're playing this, I will check. No, dude, you're good. Good. You're good. Ain't no hate around here. Dude, unless you call me something stupid like a racist or a fascist or a Nazi or transphobic. dude, vent. Go nuts, man. Like people need to talk about it. People used to be able to talk about it and their frustrations with their friends and family. And like, hey man, gas is $7.50 a gallon. This is horrible. What happened? Like going, I mean, do we, it's like, and then of course, people used to be like going, yeah, I know, like I don't know why is it so expensive? Blah, 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 like conversation, and then of course, but for 3 years ago, they'd be like going, "What are you, racist Nazi? Wait, what do you support? Like going Russia and all that kind of crap?" And you're like going, "Wait, what? I don't understand. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?" You're good, dude. You're good. Yeah, you're good.
Worse than it was in 2016.
Well, I've been to the border, and they just straight up say we're using tax dollars to send some of these children that are coming across the border into known prostitution rings, into sweatshops, because we don't have the ability to check. They're just sending them
Well,
off.
we have 88,000 missing children. Now, can you imagine if that were Trump that had 88,000 missing children? 88,000, that's a Holocaust. That's as bad as I mean, think of it. These are young, very young children, and also women. They take women, and they trade women. And I had it brought down to the lowest level because I had a border that was actually strong.
And you're going to take it back to that.
Oh, we're going to bring it back, and I think then some. One thing, and you know this better than anybody, that you got to know people. It's about people. If you put a great person at the head of a big agency, lots of good things happen. In my business, if I have a good super in real estate, superintendent running one of my buildings, and if I move them to another building, sometimes you move them to another building but then that building, you need good people. And we had a lot of great people. I had some that I was very disappointed in. I was some that I was very, very disappointed in. But the one thing is that I was in Washington 17 times in my entire life. I never stayed over. That was reported by the news. I was very rarely there. I wasn't a Washington. I was a New York person. I was a builder in New York, a real estate guy. I had a wonderful company. Everything was going good. It would have been so easy just to keep doing that. It was probably one of the most successful days of my life was the day before I announced I was running for president. Once you do this, the whole world changes. I even lost Oprah, okay? Oprah liked me so much. And, I haven't spoken to her, I think, since. But she's a good person. Please give her my regards. But, you do things, and my attitude is you have to do what's right. If I didn't think that I won the election by a lot, I would have never run. And I don't think I've ever said this on air before. Maybe I have. But losing the election wouldn't have been that, somebody wins, somebody loses. You go on with your life. But when you lose an election that you won by millions of votes, if I didn't think I won the election, I would have never done it a second time because I would have lost. In other words, I would have lost. I ran because I won the election, and I know that that's what the people want. They want what you and I are talking about right now. They want strong borders, and they want good education. They want all these things that we talked about, and we're going to get it to them, and we're going to get it fast. Probably the hardest problem, the biggest problem is nuclear and the weaponry, and we have to keep out of wars and all of that. But the hardest problem for our country is the millions and millions of people that have been brought into this country, that have been dropped here. Many of them should not be here. They're really, really bad people from the jails, from the places. And you know what's going to happen? You'll take 10 out, and you'll have one where it's a woman with a couple of kids, and you're going to have the news say, oh, look at this, how horrible, how hard. It's a very hard thing to do, but we have to have the largest deportation effort in the history of our country. Dwight Eisenhower had it very early on because he was one that wanted strong borders.
But you're not against immigration.
No, I'm totally for it. But
We need it.
I think we need it desperately. But I don't want their prisoners, and I don't want their people from mental institutions, and I want people to come in legally. I want to let people come in. We need it. We do need it. We need people. But we need good people. We need people that aren't going to blow up our shopping centers and kill people.
Let me ask you two areas I want to talk to you about that's going to be different because I'm different. So let me be different. You have a personality-driven platform just like I do. Mine's a fraction of yours. You've taken every shot you can imagine. You've been criticized, attacked, called every name in the book. They've turned the judicial system against you, the intelligence community. 51 intelligence officers swear that this is a Russian plant, this laptop over here, right before the election. The media has turned against you, print, TV, radio, internet, in the streets. Not campaigning Donald Trump, just real Donald Trump. How do you deal with that stress in your most private moments?
So, two things. Number one, I don't like thinking about it. Out of sight, out of mind. I don't know if that makes sense to you. I don't want to think about it. Number two, I have tremendous support. I have the people's support. I think if
Okay, real quick. I need to address this real quick. So, you said, did you get my email? I hope I got it sent correctly. You are in the Legion Wire chat. I tried to, post the email again because I didn't get it. It also didn't show up on the StreamYard chat, which is weird. So maybe some StreamYard's issues. Again, I will actually post it right here. It is Legion Wire 2076. Also, it's the same thing for Legion Talk. It's instead of Legion Wire, it's Legion Talk 2076 at gmail.com. So yeah, hopefully that will create a link for you there, M, and you can actually, that'll work better because it didn't work when I tried to comment in my own chat, which again, we're covering a very controversial topic, and quite frankly, YouTube hates that.
If I didn't, I wouldn't be able to handle it so easily. When a judge who has conflicts like nobody's ever had wants to put me in jail, when he puts a gag order and say, if you talk about these things, we're going to put you in jail. And I'm the Republican candidate. I was president. I'm leading the Democrat by a lot. He wants to put me in jail. I like not to think about it. It's like they say, oh, don't eat that food, don't eat this food, don't do this, don't do that. They don't really know. It might be good for you. It might not be bad. It might be good. They say it causes cancer. I say, don't talk to me about it. I don't want to hear the word. I don't want to. It's out of sight, out of mind. I think I have a very good disposition for trauma. But I have great support, Phil. The one thing is, because you mentioned lots of groups, and you're right about that, but I also have great support within the media. You know, there's a group of people in the media. You might be one of them. You're a very important force. The fact is, I've watched you so long. I just felt so confident when you called us.
I believe that.
You know, otherwise, what do I have to subject
If you're in
myself to
entertainment,
for?
you're
Doesn't
not allowed to
make sense.
support.
But I find it to be a very different and very interesting. It's a psychological interview that you're doing too. You're sort of being my psychiatrist, and maybe I could use a psychiatrist every once in a while. No, it's pretty cool. But I try not to think about. I try not to go into that. And very importantly, I have tremendous support. I have support from the people. You look at the polls, and they agree with me. There's sort of a silent majority. You know, it's a term that's
$200 million raised since Tuesday. $200 million raised since Tuesday. A third first-time donors to him ever. A third $200 million. Ooh. Again, the wave's coming. Tell your family, tell your friends, get out there on your social media platforms, say vote in person. It matters. Get out there. Vote early, vote in person, vote fast. Let's do this.
It's been used over the years, but it's a true term. I have the support of many more people than they have, if we call they the bad guys. And I think if I didn't, or if I felt I didn't, I would not.
No, it may have not have been gruesome. They just said bye, but that's so heinous. It's gross. It's like saying, what is up there, Beak? Beak, vote early, vote often. That's right. That's right. and vote in person. Yeah, it's gross because the United States is something that differences of opinions were celebrated. And in today's world, it's not. And that sucks. I missed the 90s, like 1997, 98. People were chill. People were a lot more fun, a lot more ideas flowing around. I miss the 90s.
Be quite the same person.
You know, we all have a personal truth. You know, it's that what we believe about ourselves when we don't have our mask on, when we don't, you know, I put on a nice suit. You know, I'm going to see the president here.
Nice suit.
I want to be credible.
Looks good.
And we, you know, we put our best foot forward when we step out into the world. But we do have a personal truth that what we believe about ourselves at our most vulnerable, when nobody's looking, nobody's listening. Maybe it's 3 o'clock in the morning, we wake up looking at the ceiling, thinking, what the hell am I doing? What do you say to yourselves when the crowds aren't cheering? When you're home alone, you're riding in the car, you're by yourself. What is the hardest, darkest moment that you can think of in this journey you've been on the last several years?
You have to be very strong. You're fighting off very evil forces, and they're very smart forces. There are people that control Biden, totally true. I think I know who they are largely. But there are people that control him. They're very smart, very energetic. Possibly they're real believers, you know, what their sick ideology is. But you have to be smart, and you have to have confidence. I mean, you have to have a certain confidence. The other thing is, I realize over the years, you know, I've been through a lot, great and bad. You know, I won the presidency. Everybody said, how are you going to do? How good is that? It was the most incredible evening one of the most incredible evenings in the history of the country. Look at the celebration. I mean, it was incredible. But you also go through bad. I also I understand fully that the bad also disappears. In other words, you'll go through bad moments and it disappears. It's sort of funny because I've watched your show a lot over the years. See, I'm not ashamed to say it because some people say, oh, you watch Dr. Phil. Well, you know, your show is a very smart show. And I've watched you ask a question similar to that to some couple and they break down, oh, they start crying on the show. I said, that's never happening to me. If that happens to me, that's the end of my political career. I think people...
Is he doing a parody of his own voice? he's doing a joke of his own voice.
Actually, maybe people would like me better. But I'll tell you what, you need strength. You have to have strength. And people don't want to see that. I've watched so many people, you break down people, they don't even know they're being broken down. But it's different.
Well, that's the last thing I want to do with you, but I do want people to know you. I want people to know every aspect of you, and I know it about myself. I know that not every time is a great day, not every time is a hard day.
Until you led a charmed life. You never had a problem in your life, right?
Yeah. I watched you during that trial. That's not a fun time.
You know, it was an icebox. That courtroom was so cold.
Really?
And I believe it was set that way by the judge. That courtroom was freezing. You know, I'd call it the icebox, right? I say, I just sat through 4 hours, and I'm not campaigning by doing that. That's what angered me. They're taking away my voice. They're keeping me in this icebox, and they're taking away my voice. But, you know, one thing that's, you bring it up, and you haven't asked me the question yet, and I'm sure you will, although I know we've been doing this for quite a while, and it's an honor to do it. But the hardest part for me is probably my family, because it's very unfair to my family. I have a very good wife. She reads this crap. I have great kids. You know what amazed me? I gave up my salary. I didn't take salary. And it's $450,000, approximately $450,000 a year. So, you know, it's still money. It's a couple of $1 million. I never had a good story saying I did. I'm not looking for a story. What surprised me is there was a couple of stories. Who else did it? Nobody. Everybody took. I figured maybe Kennedy, it's a pretty rich family. I figured the only one that may have done it was George Washington. You know, George Washington was a very wealthy landowner. And they said the only one that may have done it is George Washington. I figured Roosevelt, maybe FDR. You know, there were some pretty rich presidents. Every president took their salary. Bushes took their salary. I didn't take my salary. I gave it up.
No.
And every month,
Donated every bit
I'd
of
get
it.
a call from the
All
fake
4
news.
years.
Because you know you can't really give it up. You have to give it to an organization within government. You're not allowed to actually give it. So what happens? You get the check and then you give it to Health and Human Services, or you give it to the Navy, or you give it to the Army, or something. And every month they say, "Did he give it? Did he give it?" And when you show them,
You give it to a charitable government organization to use. Yeah, so it's something that you don't take. You hand it off this direction. Which nothing wrong with Health and Human Services.
that you gave it, there was no story. And it was just interesting to see.
Oh no, there was no story. He's 100% right. No story. Also, what's up, Jacob? How you doing, buddy? Good to see you, man. Also, at the same time, his kids don't seem to have severely weird issues. Hunter Biden, crack addict. Ashley Biden, raped by her father. Shall I go on? No. We'll finish.
The whole system is rigged. I mean, it's just a nasty system. But
You're going to have to speed it up just a smidgen. We'll jump it up to 1.25 because we're almost at 3 hours, and I didn't think this would be longer than 2, so my apologies. Thank you, everybody, for being here for so long. You guys are awesome.
the saddest is, I'll give you one quick example. I have a son, Don. He's a good kid, and he wants to help people. And they said he was involved with Russia. He knows less about Russia than that young person sitting right over there, who I'm sure knows nothing about Russia. And it was Adam Schiff, a bad guy. And he comes out of a so-called intelligence meeting, and he goes to a microphone, and there's a lot of
No, I haven't went to the bathroom once. If my camera was off, I was sneezing, taking a drink of, like Gatorade or something. I don't like to drink on stream when I mute my microphone because it's a tumbler, so it slurps. No bathroom breaks, dude. Also, at the same time, I'm not on the verge of shitting my pants. Y'all understand that if you've been a fan of the channel long enough. Damn it. I told new people about that. Shut up, Brian.
press gathered, because this was during the Russia hoax, total hoax. It had nothing to do. 5 million phone calls. I had not one phone call to Russia. It was a hoax, and it came out that way, and it's nice, but it took 2.5 years. And by the way, it was very dangerous, because at least Putin understood it was a hoax. You know, he used to say, he thought we were crazy, to be honest with you. He thought we were crazy. But Don, so they say, Adam Schiff comes out and says, Donald Trump Jr. will go to jail because of what he's done with Russia. And it was Adam Schiff and Hillary Clinton and some others in the DNC that they made up a story. Think of how bad you have to be.
No. He said, now I have to take a shit. Sorry. Andy Pickle, buckets are amazing, aren't they? No, there's Yeoman Taylor above. She has the night off, so no one to empty the bucket. I had to give. Look, it's a union thing. She gets every Friday night off, so the way it is.
You make up a phony story about Russia, the Russia hoax. You have the dossier, you have the whole thing. It's all fake. They paid $12 million or something for the dossier. $12 million. They gave this guy Steele a fortune to do a fake story. It's called the fake dossier, right? Mm-hmm. They go to my son. They know it's fake. It's not like they think it's real. They know it's a fake because they made it up. And they say, Donald Trump Jr. will go to jail. So I call up my son. I said, are you okay? Is there something I don't know? How bad do you have to be when you can say about a story that you made up that you know is fake, that my son is going to go to jail because of the story?
How do you deal with that as a father? Because I've had it happen to me. You've met Jordan,
yes,
and my other son Jay. I've had stories about them, and it infuriates me.
I called him up. I knew it wasn't true, but I said, this guy, these are not stupid people. I call him Watermelon Head. He's got the thinnest neck I've ever seen, how it holds up that head. He's got a neck that's about a size 6. Very unattractive guy, both inside and outside. And people say, oh, that's such a terrible thing to say. It's okay. Very unattractive guy.
Soul of a bridge troll.
These are bad people. And it's not easy to deal with. You know, when you have your kids involved or your family, your wife, and you read stuff, in most of it is untrue. It's just totally untrue. But think of that. They make up a story and then they say your son's going to jail for something that they know is false. These are bad people.
Is that harder to take than when they're talking about you?
Yeah, for me it is. For me, I become different. Maybe it would have been tougher. I think the fact that I have such unbelievable support helps me a lot. It doesn't bother me.
Has it bothered you? Has there been blowback on Barron because he's younger and more vulnerable?
It's not easy. And he's a great kid. He's a good student. He's got accepted to different colleges. He's got some of those colleges, all of a sudden they're writing all over the place. You're saying, but he's a good boy. He's a tall boy. He's very tall. He's very tall. And he's a great kid. He's a good looking kid. And, he's going to be going to college. But he's...
Mr. Sneezy at Legion Talk, why are you still obsessed with Brie Larson? She hasn't said anything for 7 years since 2018. I've actually defended Brie Larson, but I haven't made any videos about her lately. I think the last one was The Marvels, and the fact that she was delightful. So, also, I think Sneezy is making a joke. 'Cause I'm pretty sure I've seen that name before. Anyway, that being said, Andy says, well, yeah, real quick, yeah, just want him to shut up. Andy says, also haven't seen you chugging Reaper sauce. That'll go through you like a laser beam. No, not this stream. Not this stream. I still have another jar left, but not this stream.
He doesn't say it. And I think he doesn't say because he doesn't want to hurt me, and he thinks it's possibly a hurtful conversation. But it has to affect my family. And I think that's really unfair because I have a very good family. I have good kids. I have a wonderful wife. I mean, it's not easy for her to read this kind of stuff. That's fake. That's fake stuff. But that's the way it is. It certainly is not a good thing. And it affects me more than it would if it were just about me. I wish it could be just about me.
How's she holding up through all of this?
I think good, but I don't think it's an easy thing for her. And I think if it wasn't good, she wouldn't want to tell me about it, to be honest with you, because she sees that I'm fighting like hell. I'm trying to become president and make America great again. That's what we're going to do. We're going to make America great again. They put tremendous obstacles in our way, including the 20 million people that are going to be in here by the time this guy gets out. It's an election we have to win. We're not going to have a country left if we don't win this election.
Have you ever thought that the toll...
All right. Mr. CG, your last Brie Larson video was only a few days ago about Hollywood Roundtable. That was many Hollywood actresses. Brie Larson was the least insufferable. Gonna say that again. I wasn't chastising Brie Larson. She was saying things, and the other panelists kind of carried it in a feminist way and ran with it. Brie is very mellow. I actually like Brie in movies anymore, to be honest. She's mellow. Andy says, gonna hop over and bug Sam. Appreciate you, Andy. See ya. Tell Sam I said, hey, I'm gonna hop in there and say hey too. So thank you for being here, dude. All right, we're gonna finish this, and we're gonna finish this in a hurry.
that it takes on your family is too much? There are headlines out there that say, when you win your second term, you are going to make the people that have come after you pay. Every situation needs a hero.
You know what? I'm going to do this. We're going to leave it right there. I have left the link in both chats. And quite frankly, I think that you guys should go and watch it for yourself. That is a little bit of a final moment. And because quite frankly, all right. Sneezy says, Ghostbusters 2016 has made more money than all the other Ghostbusters movies apart from Ghostbusters 1. That's adjusted for inflation, and quite frankly, no. What? No. Dude, come on, man. Look, if you want to have an honest conversation, let's be honest and let's be super. What's up, Tim? He says on your left. That's right. Tim says on your left. Sneezy, you want to have an honest conversation, bring real world numbers, because no. Ghostbusters 2016 was a travesty, and it did not beat out Ghostbusters 2. Come on, man. Seriously? Like, go, just don't. All right. Shout out to all of you who are watching. Appreciate y'all being here. Seriously. Ooh. Oh, House of the Dragon season 2. I'll text you, dude. I'll message you on the twit twat. Well, no. Hold on. Sneezy may have a life. It's just not the greatest. So let's hope Sneezy gets a better life. That's the hope. What? Chris Hemsworth has been in every woke movie since 2016. No. Infinity War wasn't woke. Like, are you drinking? Seriously, drinking? Did you mean 2018? Or I'm sorry, 2019 when the whole Avengers end? Well, look, dude, we're not getting into it. All right. This is your final comment. I'm not banning you because I don't ban anybody. Is Chris Hemsworth the king of woke? No. With Ghostbusters 2016, yes, he was in it. Kristen Stewart, Snow White, Okay, so no, Kristen Stewart's it was Snow White and the Huntsman. That was not woke. It's not woke. I'm just saying. Women in Black. That was after Ragnarok, you dumbass. It was late 2018. I'm sorry, late 2017. Madam Max, Lady Thor. Dude, come on, man. Dude, you seriously stop. But you're allowed to think what you want. So thank you to the chat. You guys are the greatest. Seriously. Including Sneezy. We appreciate Sneezy. Even our critics are allowed to have an opinion. That being said, thank you so much, everybody, for watching. And trust me, as more Donald John Trump interviews come out, I'm really hoping for a Joe Rogan one because it's coming real soon. I know Sneezy, Dean Cain, well, he's Superman, so one of the best ones. Appreciate you, Sneezy. See you guys.